taunt.
Exactly. I would like to think that Twitch has, agreed to an unconditional surrender, but that's wishful thinking.
Oh man, I don't know if you follow Sean on YouTube.
I do.
Yeah, he came out with a very long, like 2.5 hour video essay about Hiroshima and Nagasaki recently. It's called that. It's about the decision to drop the atomic bomb and whether the story that's told is right. I mean, of course it's not, but also then, like, in what ways is it not right, and what does that mean? It's very, very good.
Yeah, I have actually, and it's incredible. And actually, there's an amazing companion piece. I don't know if you're familiar with Three Arrows, another YouTubesman.
Yeah. I haven't watched as much Three Arrows, but I do enjoy
he has gotten frustrated with the vagaries of YouTube for reasons that are probably obvious, but also don't need to be gone into right now. And started a podcast called The Iron Dice about the Weimar Republic and the founding thereof, and I assume eventually the dissolution therereof. And some of the stuff, from Sean's video about people started a podcast called The Iron Dice, like all this stuff, but like no, there is no possibility that the emperor stays on the throne. Like just like give it up, whatever. There's a lot of that kind of stuff where it's like there's no way the Kaiser Wilhelm is not going to stay. There's no scenario where Kaiser Wilhelm is still Kaiser at the end of this. If you want to preserve the monarchy, here's the ways we can do that, right? And then just the pure understandable in context, but absolutely baffling pigheadedness of insisting that no, history has to go this way. It's weirdly similar, and I think that's
looking at the run up to World War One, you have a whole lot of that as well. Like it seems to me like a lot of 20th century history is that kind of almost Cassandra problem.
completely. Well, and it's almost like there, as long as we're recommending YouTube stuff, there was actually really great extra history back in the day, right? Like a series about the run up to World War One, and it is kind of that similar tragedy. Thing. Yes, exactly. Where it's a wild thing that people who study this stuff still have vigorous arguments about what actually caused World War One, right? Like our Archduke Ferdinand got killed, right? But why should that have plunged the world into war? And it's the answer is this weird, vague but vague yet unbreakable series of alliances and so on. That it's
well, and then it's also the story of how that situation came to be, right? Like that's to me the really compelling thing about history is that it was this alliance system. Like, well, okay, why was that there though? Why not just go like, oh hey, this is going to plunge us all into war, maybe let's not. No, it's really fascinating.
No, it's truly a domino effect, right? It's that thing where what Germany has agreed to, what Austria has agreed to, like suddenly like it just like no one has worked out how these things depend on each other. And this is the thing where I think when I talk to younger folks sometimes, who are maybe like I don't mean this in a condescending way, just like people who don't remember the 80s and like the tale of the Cold War and whatever, right, tend to not understand the function of the UN or the EU, right? And it's like, well, the function is that we haven't had a World War III yet, right? They've done a bang up job of that like, from the 14 points through the UN, through all that stuff, it's about like, okay, let's actually have some rules in place for what this weird web of alliances is, so that, so that then when, not if, something completely bizarre happens diplomatically, we don't necessarily have a world war immediately. Which I think is an improvement personally. Never having been asked in my lifetime to walk into a meat grinder for no clear purpose has been nice.
Indeed.
And to be clear,
I agree.
Lots of other people, even at my school, were they were not conscripted, but they were shown Xboxes and told that this was their chance to go to college, and which, as I believe I said on the podcast recently, there's a special place in hell for all of those recruiters.
But it's for sure.
It's still quite a bit different than the entire able-bodied population, being expected to put their bodies on the line for, again, a weird, tangled, probably unproductive series of alliances.
Exactly. Well, and I don't want to. This is one of the rare times where I kind of have to be careful what I say, but the place where I work is an educational institution that serves.
It's the Vatican, folks. Just so you know.
There you go. That serves a lot of military families, who move around a lot and whose one or both parents are career military, and recruiters really love that. And I have watched. People who in their 9th through 12th grade were like musical theater kids, just sign up to go to boot camp. Culturally, it's a very normal, very regular thing to do in this group. And I'm just like, man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I couldn't prevent that.
Yeah. It's a really awful thing, and it's one of those things that, and we will start playing Crusader Kings 3 soon.
I was going to ask if we were live yet.
We are live on YouTube. We are still not live on Twitch. This was probably just the last time I'm going to use Restream. Hey, Restream.io, if you're listening. Twitch has never worked for me on your platform. If you'd like to fix that for me, I will sing your praises to high heavens. Otherwise, we'll find another solution in the future. But we're live on YouTube, which means there will be an archive, so we'll be okay in any case. But I was just going to say, the issue of shady military recruiting is one of the many things that we're bad at talking about in the U.S. because we don't acknowledge that we have a class system, right? Because it is a very, very class-based set of targeting, right? Like it is, and I mean that in the fulsome sense of targeted like marketing, but also targeted like a predator targets its prey. It's hard to talk about who gets targeted because we insist that everyone is just middle class and everyone is equal, and we ignore the ways in which some people are more equal than others and all of that.
Yeah, it's kind of gross. And again, in a community like the one that I work in, it's hard to bring that up because so much of not only the parents but then the children's identity is wrapped up in the idea of military service.
Right.
That like, okay, sure, but also
yeah, no, and that's the thing, right? I mean, it's you get into those nuances that are difficult to talk about, especially at sort of a mimetic, like everyday speech, what you identify with kind of level. But it is perfectly possible to do leal service, to be brave for a cause that is nonetheless pointless or even bad, right? Individual acts of bravery are not negated by the idea of an unjust war. They're simply wasted, right? So the correct response as a citizen of a democracy is rage at the people who put these brave folks in harm's way for no good reason.
Yeah. And as most conversations do, we have basically found ourselves back at War Pigs. So
true enough.
So anyway, let's go on a war of expansionist military conquest in the Middle Ages.
It's related in exactly this way, and I'm going to attempt to do it. I'm going to explain how it's actually related. This is the segue. This is a game in which all of those weird alliances are grokkable, right? You can track them, you can even manipulate them. There is a certain degree to which what happens is maybe a little bit chaotic, but even the chaos is itself. You can pause history and figure out what the hell just happened, rather than having to sort of wait 50 years and figure out what happened to your parents' or grandparents' generation. There's a sense in which it makes history comprehensible, holdable, that I think is potentially deceptive in ways that we'll probably talk about at some point, but also very interesting. I am probably on an old version, so I think I probably just need to transfer it. Yeah,
you're actually on a new version, and your save is an older version.
That is what I meant. Thank you for saying thing. Thank you for saying the thing that I was trying to say, but less stupid.
It should be fine. Multiplayer games are a little bit more susceptible to the weird sort of edge cases that can be brought in that way. But, we can usually steamroll them.
Fair enough. All right, so this is a private game, but that you should remind me, still be able to find it, or do I need to give you this little key here?
You should give me the so.
Okay, I will do that.
Fling that at me.
I will throw that at you. And I guess anybody watching this right now, if you really want to come in on our game, to be perfectly honest, I'm honored that you would even try.
But also no.
But also don't, because you'll ruin all the fun. Okay, so give that to you in good old Discord here.
Good old Discord.
I'll drink to that
the
chat platform.
The Max Payne thing. Dearest of all my friends.
Yes, exactly.
Man, it's been a minute since I thought about that.
Yeah, I haven't thought about Max Payne in general in a minute.
Yeah, which is weird because I am partway through a Control playthrough that we are waiting on a new wireless mouse and keyboard to complete. But yeah,
not unrelated.
Yeah, but good stuff. And been interested. And when I realized that it was the Max Payne 2 Alan Wake people, I was like, oh no, that makes a strange sort of sense.
I still haven't played Control. I haven't touched it at all. I've heard really, really good things.
I enjoy it a lot. It is weirdly hard is the thing. It's like an action game that challenges my patience, I guess, some of the time, but has been worth sticking with so far. A lot of just like straight up combat and gameplay challenges in places I wasn't expecting.
Sure.
It
is through and through an action game, right? Like all the weird fiction lens that it uses manifests in the form of cool powers.
Yeah, well, and a lot of ancillary text that is really worthwhile. Surreal visuals that are really cool. But yeah, it is definitely more of an action game than I had realized.
Sure.
Okay.
I am taking in the map here.
Sure, I am trying to figure out if I am... Okay, yeah, no, I need to pick my possessed, embearded one before I can...
Fair enough. Oh, sorry, did I jump the gun on starting the game here?
No, you're good. Okay, I'm right here.
It's so damn chill. Right. It's so damn chill about just letting any person Doro into whichever historical figure they feel like. I love that about this game.
Yeah, well, and like it's such an improvement to their multiplayer platform over 2. Like 2 wasn't terrible about it, but man, could it be kind of a chore sometimes. Sure. That's right. I just finished up my war in Sweden.
That's right.
And so I have to figure that out.
All right. So I let's see. When last we left our fallen non-Jarl, our chieftain Helgi the Seer, what was he up to other than getting topped by his his new sovereign at every available opportunity?
Is really interesting, right? Because you're part of Estonia, but I do still see... Oh no, I see High Chiefess Virga, who is now the High Chiefess of Novgorod, and she has a lot more like actual territory than the King of Estonia does. Right. Even though he's her liege. And then you, within that, are the Chief of Tikven.
That's right.
Yeah.
You are probably getting some barking dogs.
That's okay. You might get some barking dogs a little bit later.
Collect them all.
That said, your house, people from your dynasty, it's you, the chieftain of Russa, and then the Jarl of Luki, at least. Maybe even more, frankly. Yeah, there's more over in Vologda.
That's right.
So yeah, you've got dynasty control of quite a lot of territory.
Right.
As your character, and you are the head of your dynasty still.
Oh, that's interesting. So that is actually a thing maybe worth discussing that I didn't know could happen in this game. So you can, who is the head of your dynasty and therefore who the player character is, can shift by means of something other than death?
Well, so your player character perspective follows the inheritance of your primary title.
Got it.
But if you click on your little shield, your Rurikid shield in your pane there, you can see who is the head of the dynasty, and that doesn't have to be you. You can be the player character and not be the head of your dynasty.
Got it.
Oh, that's actually a really cool thing where you can see everybody and see what, if any, like titles they hold.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you have 3 rulers. Or is it just 3? Couldn't quite tell just there. But you, Sorkver, and Bjorn.
Mm-hmm. My half-brothers are not my biggest fans, which is perfectly reasonable, to be honest. Okay. So, what do I do?
Yeah, I see where they're coming from.
you know, fair point, fair read. So what do I do to pull myself out of this hole? So let's see. My liege is currently defending against Chieftain Oh, we're back in the pronunciation game, are we? Algebevi? Is that how you say it?
So this is my war that your Liege is part of. She is my ally.
That's right.
And we are in this war together.
I'm probably useless in this pursuit.
No, I don't think you should spend resources on it. I honestly, now that I'm done in Sweden, now that I have Uppland and I'm heading back, I am in a pretty good position to just steamroll them from what I can see. And I can't see everything, so I could be wrong. But sure. Chieftain Algabaivi, I guess, is this was an opportunistic war. And now that I am no longer quite so diverted, I think they have about 900 troops total, and I've got 2,400 heading their way. So, plus allied troops totaling at least 1,300. So I think we're probably going to be all right. Their army is of a quality with mine and not amazingly superior. So yeah, I think we're going to be okay.
Okay.
And you can take some time to consolidate power, which, especially if you are looking to move up within Estonia or reclaim Novgorod or gain independence or anything like that, consolidating your power, it's going to be a good thing. I mean, for her part, High Chiefess Virga only controls one county personally. Most of her power comes from this chieftain of Pskov, who has 4 county level titles, and you with 3 county level titles, and your dynastic other person. I don't know what their actual relationship to might be.
Sure.
Brother probably. Who has the county of Rusa. Like, most of her territory is held by vassals who are ostensibly a little more powerful than she is.
Makes sense. Okay. So the main reason I can't do much right now, like I'm reasonably poor, and I don't have as much influence as I would sure like to, but the main thing is just I have negative prestige. I'm deep in a prestige hole. Which makes sense.
You got beaten.
Yeah, exactly. So what should I focus on if I want to at least get in the black prestige-wise?
So, doing things like going hunting, throwing feasts help with your prestige a little bit, but they are costly. Military exploits help, but they also usually cost prestige to initiate, and as we are both unreformed, Słomiańsko and Słowiańska Pravda, respectively, you can't like declare holy wars very easily, which would spend piety instead in order to start. So raiding could be a reasonable low level thing to kind of just keep up. Otherwise, traits and education / experience tree things can help with your prestige, especially, I think, and I can actually check while I am thinking about it. In the military tree, I think there's maybe a place where you can get some prestige from gallant. If you get all the way to the bottom of the gallant tree, it gives you plus 20% monthly prestige, and I think probably a few of the things in the trees themselves may have small effects here and there. Bellum Justum at the top of the strategy tree makes declaring war 50% less expensive, which is a good way to go. And then I think under the diplomacy tree, having the majesty focus gives you +1 prestige per month. And then I think a few of the perks might also help with prestige along the way, although I cannot for sure say which ones those might be. August gives you prestige 1 per month if you get all the way to the bottom of that tree. You get prestige for having dread with firm hand, per knight with Praetorian Guard, with each powerful vassal in the council according to inspiring rules. So that August tree is a way to increment your prestige a little bit, or your rate of gain. But otherwise,
Might be
the
a bit of
waiting
a slow
game.
climb. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Marrying up. If you get an opportunity, if you marry somebody whose station is above yours, you get prestige.
Sure.
In kind of a lump sum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can declare wars. You're in line to inherit titles. Cool. You're in line to inherit titles.
And you're in line to inherit titles. Everyone's in line to inherit titles.
You get the war of succession. You get
You get to assassinate your brother for a chance at the throne. And you get to assassinate your brother for the chance at the throne. All right. I am going to focus on building up my heartland here, so to speak. Although I should probably move my capital soonish, now that I'm thinking about it. Because the place it is currently inhibits development growth.
Where is it currently? So I can show the people.
Olu, if you zoom in on where that yellow wolf head is, you'll see my capital. Yeah, that's me. All of that, Poyama. And so Olu there is my county seat, and the
I see the taiga problem.
There.
Yeah.
A lot of taiga, and if you look at the terrain, it's minus 20% supply limit, which is not a problem for me, but minus 5% development growth, which over a long enough haul is probably not great. I might be moving down to Mustasari, which is southwest of that along the coast, because it is plains, and so does not mess with your growth
supplies and yeah.
Finland, the actual county of, may also be a pretty good place to go, honestly. But I don't currently hold it myself, so I can't move myself there. It is held by Chieftain Tolir Solvison, who is Norse, and so probably doesn't like me very much. And I might be dispossessing him at some point. We will see.
I look forward to it. Okay. I am doing what meager things I can here in my gray little corner of the map, so I am good to start time whenever you are.
Yeah, no, I'm good to go. I will point out one thing that has changed in terms of interface in updates since we last played is that your little stained glass notification bobbit there, if you click on that, it says you have 0 unread messages, but it keeps your messages.
That doesn't mean yeah, totally. That doesn't mean I don't have things I can do. It means I'm aware, at least ostensibly.
You have moused over all the ones that are there.
Yeah, which I mean, none of this demands my immediate attention, I don't think.
Also, and this may be a personal preference thing. I tend to clear messages as they come in on the right and at the top. You can clear things by right-clicking on them generally. So if you've got like a bunch of things stacking up on the right below your little like action bar thing where you select realm, council, all that good stuff, you can right-click on those to clear them. You don't have to just let them hang out there taunting you.
That's nice.
Yeah. When
I feel sufficiently taunted already. So.
But yeah, I'm good to start absolutely whatever.
Let's do it. All right, I can't press space. I have to hit the thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little... I construct some gathering halls. 2 years left.
All right, I'm increasing control, and I have a scheme which will hopefully make my wife like me, which would sure be nice. Oh, hey.
Yeah, both of those would be relatively good things.
Okay. Oh, I'm ill. You know what I needed was some bad news. Okay, so chieftain or peasant, high or low, it does not matter. In the end, we are all mortals. I was reminded of this. This is a bad start. I was reminded of this as I woke coughing in the early morning hours, a dull ache pounding through my head and throat. You seem to be under the weather, my lord. I know a fair number of suitable remedies. So let's see. We can do no more than is necessary, in which case I gained the trait ill.
So you have already gained the trait ill. Will happen.
Understood. Yes. Okay, so basically I can do nothing. I can be lowercase c conservative, or I can go for broke.
My experience has been, unless your illness is likely to kill you soon, do no more than what is necessary is a safer bet. Like, okay. Literally. But if you click on yourself, you may be able to see what illness you have. Let me see if I can do the same. Novgorod, Chieftain Helgi. Okay, you're just ill. It doesn't tell you what illness you've got, but it has a severe health penalty, so that's not great.
It's not ideal, but this isn't like Helgi's father when he was on death's door after that one battle. This is just an illness.
Yeah, not quite. Your overall health is still at fine. Mm-hmm. So I would say do no more than what is necessary, but up to you. Sometimes it's too late for caution. Can be they do something bizarre that doesn't hurt you and it works really well. Sometimes it can be they do something bizarre that doesn't hurt you and it doesn't work at all. Sometimes it can be they literally slice off your face. And maybe it helps with your sickness, but now you have a sliced off face to worry about.
Right. I mean, there is a certain, just as a role play decision. I mean, I am a witch, so there is something about non-conventional treatments that's probably. On the other hand, though, I'm probably playing a long game as a witch. All right, let's be careful here. There'll be plenty of time to do stupid things later. Okay, so by the way, the finest singer in the court has arrived. Turned out to be a young child with a bright tenor voice. For several days in a row, the child sang me to sleep. The soothing voice turned out to be just what I needed. For now, the worst of my symptoms are alleviated, and the world seems a little brighter.
Excellent work. You got a huge boost from that to your disease resistance.
I love that those were the but like if I say like let's be cautious, let's be traditional, let's be yeah, it's singing. it's a tenor, no less. If our mutual friend Des were here, he'd be horrified. A devotee of bass voices, that one. Okay, I'm good to continue if you are.
Yeah, go for it. I'm trying to chase down this army that is fleeing from me like a bunch of cowards. This is the pronunciation I struggled with last time. The place they were sieging was Aanarja umlaut VRI. So Anarjavri, as far as I can tell.
You put in a heroic effort there. Real quick. So I'm sitting on a strategy meeting with High Chiefess Verga and Chieftain Bjorn, discussing our plans for the ongoing war. High Chiefess Verga has combined my ideas with Bjorn's, merging them into a single cohesive strategy that will give us significant advantage on the battlefield. I'm impressed by her plan.
So this is actually an event that you have had before, only you're on the other side of it now.
I was just thinking that. Yeah. I think I even chose the fusion option that time.
You did. Yeah. Or rather, your previous self did.
Right.
When you were Jarl Rurik.
Right.
But yeah, this is you are the marshal now in this case, rather than the ruler.
I mean, does her strategy involve me doing what I'm doing, which is not getting in the way?
Presumably.
Because if so, that is where I am a Viking. Or not a Viking. We could have played that and we chose not to. But you know what I mean. I need to check my cinnamon rolls. So if you want to putz around, by all means. Otherwise, this can be blank space that I can cut out later. Totally up to you. I'll be right back.
I will just talk smack about you while you're gone.
Oh, do it. Yes.
Okay, now that I think he's gone, Drew is absolutely amazing. Like, he flew in across the country for my wedding to be in it, even though I wasn't able to make it to his because of financial reasons on my end when that happened some years earlier, and he just really game for doing all these things like CK3 streams, which take a lot of time, and he's volunteered to do not just tabletop gaming, but a tabletop gaming podcast, just because I was bored during quarantine, and he's actually managing a lot of the technical stuff on that for me for just no reason. He did a theme song for it. Get yourself a friend like Drew if you can. He's pretty awesome. But if he asks, all I talked was smack during this time. He doesn't need to know. This is a secret between you, the listeners, and me while he is frosting his cinnamon rolls, which I promise is not a euphemism. He actually made cinnamon rolls, and is actually currently frosting them. It's not us talking about something else, even though it might kind of seem like it sometimes. Because I wouldn't blame you for thinking that frosting cinnamon rolls is a euphemism for something. That's a pretty weird thing to say, being honest. I feel very bad too, because I've been trying to shepherd Drew through this stuff, and he's had a pretty catastrophic run as Jarl Rurik and now Helgi in some ways, while I have expanded into other parts of Scandinavia successfully. And you know, a large part of the reason why that has happened is because he lost an eye helping me out in a war in a way that I was unable to return the favor. So hopefully we're able to recover his situation, and in the meantime we can enjoy, as especially he likes to do, the role-playing aspects of it. Sort of looking at the mechanics from the other side, as it were. A lot of my experience still to this day is in Crusader Kings 2. Currently, I've got a couple of games going in single player, but I only play them somewhat occasionally at the moment. One as the Empire of Alba in Britannia, and the other as Yorubaland in the southern coast of West Africa, sort of right near the Niger River there. But a lot of my stuff, you know, honestly still comes from CK2, and remember particularly a friend having a situation once where he was a vassal of the King of France, who died, and then his daughter was just this monster. She was sadistic and cruel and all sorts of things. It was great. I think I saw your screen move through.
I'm back. I am back. I was letting you finish that sentence. So I look forward to hearing all the terrible things you said about me. There was actually a brief moment where I was like, and that sadistic, cruel daughter grew up to be.
Yes, actually a Highlander who started off life as the truly monstrous daughter of the King of France.
Things get eventful. So I've made some superlative cinnamon rolls, a picture of which I will post on Twitter.
Wonderful. Yeah. I would say I am very jealous of your cinnamon rolls, but I told you about my shrimp and grits earlier for the specific reason of making you jealous.
We can be mutually jealous because I covet your shrimp and grits enormously, with abandon. Okay, shall we?
We shall.
Okay.
Oh, there's a terrain overlay now. That's amazing.
Oh, you can just show terrain. That's cool.
Well, not just that. You can show it will highlight different types of terrain in different colors.
Oh, neat.
Because before, like if you zoom in far enough on this map view, I would assume it just shows you the terrain. But now what it's doing is, taiga is in like this teal color, and plains is in this beige color. So I can look at a glance and see what kind of terrain I'm actually looking at.
I see. That's really cool.
Kind of great. Because it matters kind of a lot, both for military purposes and for desert or mountains or something, really, really have an effect on development growth.
Yeah. I recently learned, that it matters a lot.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Valto, are you not heir to anything? Oh yeah, my youngest son, I think. Well, actually not quite my youngest son. One of my younger sons, who doesn't stand to inherit anything, is about to leave my court because, well, he doesn't stand to inherit anything. There's no reason for him to stay. All right, I won my battle. And there, your liege, High Chiefess Virga, is sieging back my occupied territory for me. So I'm going to go siege their territory.
Good plan.
In return. They think that their 670 troops can hold me back. Ha! Ha, I say.
Ha and fa. Fee, fi, fo, and nah. Ignore me. It's safest to simply ignore me.
That I think is a thing that we both feel.
As I woke this morning and saw rays of sunshine falling through my window, it took me a moment to realize I had slept soundly for the first time in weeks. I did not wake up coughing once. I'm not ill anymore.
Yay! You live.
It's good to be alive. How old am I? That's an excellent question. Hold on, I'm going to pause, both to answer that question and to deal with something else. So I'm 42. Ripe old age after what I've been through. Okay, so my son Rurik hovers in the limbo between childhood and adulthood. I have taught him enough to understand the truth, and he is still young enough to have an open mind. If I want to induct him into the service of Ellis, it is now or never.
This is that witchcraft event.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah.
I highly support turning your dynasty into a den of witches, because you can actually make a officially turn my dynasty into a den of witches decision.
I mean, that's irresistible. That's a better argument than the argument I was going to make, which is, look at this kid. He deserves to be a witch.
That's also a pretty good argument. And I was going to say, you can also, if we're playing the long game here and we expect to reform our respective religions, which may be a little bit, out there. But I mean, in terms of what we can actually accomplish, not in terms of possibility in the systems. You absolutely do it in the systems. But you can eventually reform Slavyanska Pravda so that witchcraft is fine.
Sure.
We will see. It's not a small undertaking. Reforming a religion is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But at least 3,500 piety required, as well as a couple of other. It's not a small undertaking.
Sure,
you have to hold at least reforming a religion is 3 holy sites.
Mm-hmm.
But with people that are your faith, as well as be at peace and have the piety. And the more you change, the higher the piety required.
I recall this mechanic. Yeah. Okay, well, for there to be any possibility that's going to happen, my son must be a witch. So my son
absolutely
deserves to know his power. He's convinced. How could he not be?
Yeah.
I've done a lot wrong in my life. By I mean Helgi, but I'm going to get this one thing right.
Yeah.
My son will be a witch jarl someday. Let it be known. Okay, here we go.
So shall it ever be.
Welcome to the order, son.
For some reason, when you said welcome to, my mind auto-completed the desert of the real.
That too, I guess.
I watched The Matrix recently. Joanne had never seen it.
Oh, wow.
My wife had never seen it, so we watched it together, and she was very entertained, but also this is strange.
It is, right? I mean, because
strange.
Having lived through the point where all pop culture became various ripoffs of The Matrix,
mm-hmm.
I'm going to pause real quick because I'm being rated. It's easy to forget how weird it was at the time, in so many ways, and how weird it remains in so many ways.
And what to correct myself too, I think she had seen up through when the crew of the Nebuchadnezzar is in the process of extracting Neo the first time, and they pull the tracker out of his belly button.
Oh, right.
She was very young when the movie came out, and so even by the time she saw it, later than that, she was pretty put off by that, and it's hard to watch.
Yeah.
I can do a lot of out and out blood and gore, but there are certain things that are nevertheless kind of cringy just to see. My thing is anything with eyes or fingernails immediately shortcuts to my highest stress response.
I think I knew about the eye thing. I didn't know about the fingernail thing.
Yeah. Prey, the Arcane Studios game, not the older one, mm-hmm. Has a very significant little bit in it about there being eye stuff. And it was very hard for me to get past that, although I'm glad that I did. I actually need to go back and finish that game. It's very, very good, but it plays very, very slowly.
Sure. So real quick, if I'm getting rated, the things I can do about it are obviously nothing, right? I can just sort of let it happen, let it pass. If I do want to respond, I would have to raise an army, right?
Correct. Yes. You can raise an army. The thing I would do is create a rally point using that little prompt at the bottom there, just above where it says monthly reinforcement.
Gotcha.
There's a little plus, and you can click on pretty much any barony and put a rally point there. So I wouldn't put it where they are. I would put it right next to where they are.
Gotcha.
Close by, and raise an army there, and then go stomp them. They probably will run away, which is fine, because if they run away, they're not raiding you anymore. So, they will have to finish sieging that area in order to actually like damage it and remove wealth. Sure. So you've got a minute.
So they are how many strong? They are 578 strong. I would have 666 if I just raised a local army.
Raise all your troops. I wouldn't raise just local. Okay. There's until you get very big.
There's usually never not a reason to not raise all.
Yeah, well, and like, I mean, maybe there could be, right, if you wanted to raise a portion of your troops in one place and a portion of your troops in another place and do like a pincher maneuver or something, but this is a relatively simple operation.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Groovy. Happy about it. Feeling good. Let's do it. Happy New Year, 893. It's not that New Year anymore. It's like end of February. But...
Yeah, no. At the end of 892, they were like, thank God 892 is over. Surely 893 will be better.
I've been seeing that gif a lot of that one wrestler who like wore a mask of his own makeup. So he like takes off the mask and then it's the same face under it. It's like, here's the relationship between 2020 and 2021 in a nutshell.
That's extremely funny. All right. War is over.
Which is
a line in I want to say the Gathering song that it always makes me think of.
It's a line in a bunch of songs, actually. I think most people think of the John Lennon song, but it's in a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
I believe it or not, I don't listen to very much John Lennon. That probably does not surprise you, Drew. It might surprise some people at home.
Yeah, your general lukewarmness to distaste for the Beatles is you know, it's I don't know if it's a hot take, but it's, you know, it's a not usual opinion.
And I mean, you know, for those at home, my take on the Beatles is they're fine. A lot of it was my mom had a lot of distaste for the Beatles. Not like she thought the music was terrible, but she had a lot of like, I don't know, all these girls like going to their concerts and like fainting. It's just the first time their parents let them out of the house. Was a quote from my mom growing up.
Every generation has it. It almost doesn't matter what it's about. I mean, my grandmother snuck out of the house to see Glenn Miller, you know, like climbed out of her teenage bedroom. That music was going to destroy the youth too. So they have sent reinforcements, by the way.
No, they haven't. No, they haven't. Those right. are completely neutral armies to you.
Yep. Yeah. Ignore my silly statement. Yes. But yeah, no, I mean, it's funny how much passion there can be about someone just saying, oh yeah, they're fine. Lucio has gotten into not quite screaming arguments, but like there has been tension over him saying that about Harry Potter, right? Like being a person with kids who, you know, it's come a bunch of times. He's like, yeah, I mean, it's perfectly fine. And that has been as though he has, you know, insulted the Queen on Christmas or whatever, you know?
Right. Yeah. Well, and I mean, for my part, yeah, that's pretty much my take on Harry Potter is fine. But one of the things about it too is that I first heard about Harry Potter. I can go ahead and unpause.
Oh yeah, good.
Here, because my war is over. I first heard about Harry Potter in my freshman year of high school, and I had been reading not especially mature, but certainly more stylistically adult fantasy works for probably 3 or 4 years by that point. Sure. You know, Tad Williams, Robert Jordan, you know, to my everlasting shame, some Terry Goodkind.
We all go through stuff, and let he who is without sin cast the first stone.
I appreciate that attitude, but you know, like, and so going back to Harry Potter, I was like, yeah, this is kind of neat, but it's also too young for me. You know, and by the time the books that were a little less young skewing came out, I was a critical enough reader to be like, boy, Order of the Phoenix is really like doing some very blunt, guileless emotional manipulation, isn't it? You know, and That's not a flaw with the book. It's written for people who are still in middle and high school. Like, you know, but I don't have that.
Give me just a moment. I think there's a cinnamon roll related question.
Ah, yes.
Okay. 375. Okay. We were making giant ones, and they were still a little doughy, so it was an important temperature-related question. But sure. Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with something being skewed at a younger audience, or an audience who's less familiar with the genre, or it being a gateway drug, or what have you. My only frustration with Harry Potter is that it so often isn't a gateway drug for people. They're like, oh, it's so great that it got a generation reading, but it mostly got them reading Harry Potter over and over.
Right.
Summer, if you enjoy that, it's fine. But that doesn't, that's not a lifelong love of reading. That's enjoying one particular property.
Well, and like, there are people, right? I have a cousin who was severely dyslexic and mostly undiagnosed growing up, and so was not into reading particularly, and was not doing well in school, and was enamored enough. She was the right age, when Harry Potter came out, for it to really click, and she maintains a lot of that nostalgia to this day, and I get that. I have stuff that's like that for me as well, but like, it's literally the reason why she powered through and learned to read, and now is one of her main forms of personal entertainment, right? Is reading.
That's amazing.
On a regular basis.
This is the cousin who has a shirt that says something like Neville would have done it in 4 books or something.
Yeah, so it's a salmon fuzzy shirt that I bought her for Christmas one year that says Neville would have done it in 4 books.
Which, I mean, yeah, I mostly know the Harry Potter through the films, but even just from that, I tend to agree. Let the record show, by the way, by expelling the Raiders, I'm in the whole, I was in the whole like 300 prestige. I'm now, at about negative 256. I got 2, not to mention 3 gold for winning that little skirmish. Well, it wasn't a skirmish; it was a slaughter, properly.
There you go. Yeah.
But anyway, I'm good to progress time if you are.
Yeah, I am. Military exploits are a good way for tribal rulers to gain prestige, but it does come in drips and drabs rather than in giant lump sums, unless you win a big war.
Right.
Let's see. Servant of Honesty. I was shocked when I caught Hapa trying to steal from the travel chest of the visiting chieftain Rogenwalder. He confessed he had thought he could get away with it, but now knows it was wrong. This appears to be my son, who has a pretty unfortunate skin condition. He's already having a hard time. Okay. Yeah, he gets the trait Honest. Good and fine. Unpausing. Oh, that was my birthday, too. My actual birthday in real life, not my character's birthday.
How funny.
Yeah.
Awesome. Happy birthday.
Dankeschön. Actually, I really need to pull up how to say thank you in Finnish.
Ooh, yeah.
That would be fun to do on the stream.
This just became educational.
Yeah, really show off my ignorance.
So I slaughtered some raiders, and the others turned tail and ran. So I should go ahead and disband this army, yeah?
Probably. It's costing you money and prestige to keep it in the field, so...
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so... Thank you in Finnish, which is probably reasonably similar to medieval Suomi. I mean, it's changed, obviously, but it's a language isolate, so doesn't have anything else in the family anymore. It's probably not changed radically as English has in that time. Is Kiitos. I'm going to guess Kitos rather than making my phone say it out loud while we're on stream. Kitos.
Well, Kitos for that.
But yeah. Man, I have some pretty big northern rivals here, just in terms of landmass.
We were talking about this in a previous one, right? The first thing we said was we're going to eventually have to do something about Sweden, which you did.
Yeah, I did indeed do something about Sweden. Estonia, weirdly enough, is now one of my bigger neighbors. So, thanks for that.
If I wasn't so terrible at defending my my territory, then yeah, Estonia would not be quite the power it is. Hadn't really taken a look at King Nalka of Estonia as yet.
Oh yeah, because he's like your liege's liege.
He's my top liege, yeah. He's my metal liege.
So he's actually got a fair amount of territory just to himself.
True.
Unlike Virga. He's got 4 counties, and he's actually king of Estonia and Novgorod, which is its own like kingdom title if you look at those de jure.
Sure.
But yeah, so he would actually be a decent target for you to climb up and topple. Now that I'm looking at it,
that's a good thought. That's a good thought, and I think Estonia won't be conquered in a day, but
no, it'd be a multi-generational project, I think.
Yeah, but a worthy one.
For sure.
One. All right, the witches are coming for you. All right, let's do this thing.
I'm probably going to be declaring a number of small incremental wars here as time goes on against the smaller rulers in my orbit. But those probably won't sustain a lot of like pausing and strategizing. It hopefully can just kind of steamroll them. Hopefully.
So, to sway High Chiefess Virga, I can include a compliment in my next missive to her court. I'll be sure to mention her empathy and kind heart, relentless courage, youthful vigor. Yeah, I'll keep it short and professional.
Actually, clicking on her will maybe let you give it a chance to see what would go over well with her.
Sure.
Right? You look at her personality and her traits and see what might actually, be something that she would want.
For sure. So she's a rapacious atheist, which is already great. She's a brilliant strategist, which makes me feel slightly less bad about getting utterly stomped by her. Mm-hmm. She is reckless. She is a flexible leader, and she's an aggressive attacker.
And her cynical, patient, and ambitious. So probably relentless courage feels like the one that she would particularly like to hear out of those. Although you can always opt out by keeping it short and professional.
Yeah, that's true. Let's go with relentless courage. Who doesn't want to be told they have relentless courage?
I mean, I wouldn't be told that. I'm not even a high chiefess.
Or a rapacious atheist. Well,
true.
Our recent correspondence has been a source of joy. I almost thought it said a scourge of joy for me, which I was like, oh no, is that good? Is that bad? What's happening?
Scourge of joy. That could go one of two very different ways.
It could. I cannot help but think that we might both benefit from increased communication. Oh, hell yeah. Okay. She dislikes me less. I'll take it.
Good. I was trying to figure out what my character's base personality is, but I guess they don't really get one once you have control of them. They just have their traits at that point.
Right.
What would it take for me to make a kingdom? Because that's been my goal.
That's an interesting thought. Yeah.
Found a new kingdom. Evidently would just be a whole lot of money and prestige.
That kind of checks out.
So I have 69 nice prestige at the moment, and I get 2.2 per month. I need 500 total to make a kingdom. Money I gain faster, so it's not as much of a problem. Oh yeah, you have a event pile up. My goodness, what happened to my tongue?
I did. I was actually talking that whole time, but I had been muting myself while eating a cinnamon roll, so you didn't hear it. So I blame the cinnamon roll, and it is proud to take the blame. So didn't sway my
the cinnamon roll's fault.
Exactly. Even though Virga did enjoy my missive, I didn't sway her, so we'll keep trying at that. We have a faction created against Virga. So my brother Bjorn created the faction to install Rurik on the Novgorodian throne, which I mean I'm down, but that's definitely interesting. Then let's see, my wife Chiefess. Oh, right, my wife's name here. It's I don't know if you're seeing my screen right now. It's
I am. Yes.
Persiabizik.
My best guess last time we did this was Przizbyshesh, I think.
Przizbyshesh. That's I honestly, it rolls off the tongue pretty good once you know it.
But again, if anybody actually knows how that is pronounced, they are going to think I'm an absolute ignoramus.
Read us for filth on Twitter.
Sounds right to me.
Okay, so my wife, Chiefess Przizbyshesh, is once again absent from our chambers as night falls. She's been distant lately, lost in thought, and rarely seen at court. Am I not to her satisfaction? Is she simply busy? Or could she be warming someone else's bed? So I can confront her about it, I can engage in subterfuge, or I can dismiss my suspicions. So mechanically what, like, she's gonna like me less if I accuse her, whether it's true or not, at least in the short term, right?
Right. The stuff does wear off eventually, but yeah, certainly in the short term.
Yeah. Oh, let's just be direct about it. Then my daughter-in-law, Kivatar, has given birth to a son. Since the little one is part of the Rurikan dynasty, he should be blessed with a good name. Siguror is a pretty good name.
No disagreement here.
After an ancestor is pretty good, though. Vesa, Horker, Vitosh. Yeah, I'm into it. Let's do that. May you grow strong and wise. So, what do I do about this faction to install me on the throne? just as the person who currently is on the throne is starting to like me a little.
I don't think that is you, is it?
Oh, you're right. Rurik was my father.
Yeah, and so I think it's also your brother currently.
That's right.
So you could join it, theoretically.
That's interesting.
Or you can ignore it, or you can maybe tell somebody about it. I'm not sure how that exactly works, but...
Members of the claimant faction support a pretender targeting the title belonging to their liege. Okay. How do I learn more about this faction?
Let's see. Trying to full screen you. There should be a factions little flaming fist second from the bottom in your right hand bar. That would be where I would start.
Gotcha. Okay, against my liege. So
yes, there's that top one. Faction Misal Rurik on the Novgorodian throne has 83% power. You can join it. And that's all the things you have from there. I guess the other stuff that you could do potentially maybe is go to your High Chiefess if you wanted to tattle on them. That might be something that you could do. I don't know, having never been a vassal in this.
So I can join them, I can narc on them, or I can ignore it and see which way the wind blows.
I am guessing she might already know this faction exists, right? Like that might have been something else that already popped up for her. I am simply speculating that if she doesn't know and you do, you might be able to interact with her in a way that allows you to tattle on them. But it is simply a guess. Man, I wish that Sigavara had more going on, because it has expanded public works plus 2% taxes, excellent road network plus 15% taxes, and plus 30 development growth. But it's in Taiga, where tribal, so development doesn't matter, and my tax revenue from it is a base of 0.2.
Yeesh. Okay, it looks like there's not much I can do for now. I'm going to give this, expect me to maybe pause again pretty soon.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. Okay, my wife lost 10 opinion of me, and she was pissed that I would even accuse her.
10 isn't too bad.
Okay.
It's not great, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's fine. Rurik has come of age. For the longest time, I was hoping that good tutelage would be enough to teach Rurik the intricacies of any kind of scholarship. All efforts have come to naught, however. Hardly studious, he at least managed to memorize certain choice quotes from the classics. He will probably never write any great theorems, but he may read one or two. They grow up so fast. He gained the trait insightful thinker. Okay, that's fine.
I guess that's a scholarship trait, which is, you know, could be worse.
Definitely could be worse.
That is about the highest praise I can give him currently, I guess. Could be worse.
The kid, you know, if he doesn't have an unusual amount of potential, he doesn't have an unusually low amount of it either.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. Conquests or piety. If you decide you want to declare some wars, either to expand your own power base or to gain prestige, you check some of your smaller Casus Belli, your Conquer County and Duchy. They might be piety, which I think you have a decent story.
Oh, that's interesting.
It might cost piety instead. Now, I don't know how your military situation is or how your political situation is, you know, but I just reminded myself of the fact that, yeah, currently, if I want to conquer just a county or a duchy next to me, it's piety, which is good. Because I need to hoard my prestige like a dragon in a Spencer poem.
Right. Fair enough. So, it's time to arrange a marriage for Rurik.
Yes.
Is there anything in particular I should be doing? Is this a good opportunity to join our houses more closely? Do you have someone eligible?
Let me see. Family.
The family tab.
I won't have someone who is of age for another 2 years, and that person is male, so probably not able to get married to your son under these rules. It'll be 11 years before I have a daughter who's of age. So, and I think, hang on. Yes, I am allied to you currently through marriage between one of my sons and one of your sisters, I think.
I recall this. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. So nothing particularly urgent there currently. I would say you can do the eugenics thing, or you can look for
Sure.
useful alliances. Or you can try to, marry him to somebody who's a higher rank than he is and get him some prestige.
Sure. Sadistic seems like a bad trait to start off with.
It's not, ideal. I have declared the first of those tiny wars that I was talking about.
Oh, nice. Because I get sadistic in this context specifically means can use hostile schemes against their own children.
Oh, boy. I mean, honestly, you could do that without being sadistic in Crusader Kings 2, and at least one of my friends who plays practiced a very aggressive sort of family tree pruning by scheming against their own children. While you deliberate, I am going to seek a beverage.
Go for it.
I will be back momentarily.
Let's see here. So some of these have hilariously negative traits. I mean, arrogant, I think Adam has said in a previous episode, isn't the worst thing. It just makes them dislike humble characters. Cynical, we've dealt with a bunch. Sadistic is a weird one. Now, obviously, that's not congenital, whereas Quick is, which we've talked about the weirdness of that mechanic, but it's a fact of the game we're currently playing.
I have returned, and I'm going to assume that you spent the entire time talking trash about me in return.
No, I was actually talking trash about these suitors who were like, arrogant and sadistic and cynical.
I am reminded of way back in the day when I was in high school playing Medieval Total War, the original version of that game, and the opening cutscene being like, the Middle Ages, a time of venal treachery, and like just basically describing it as like, this was the worst time and place to live, bar none. And I was like, I mean, I wouldn't want to die of the plague either, but it's just people, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember I took the first day of a class on the history, like 20th century South and Central American history. And dude handed out this article that I guess is somewhat famous about how if you understand medieval Europe, you understand 20th century South and Central America. And I was like, bro, I'm not sure that's... And he was like, no, it's the same thing. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to not take this class and move on with my life. Yeah. I'm not saying there are no similarities. I'm just saying there are some rather important differences.
Well, I'm like, I could see, like, okay, we're going to read this article and we're going to discuss it. I have a lot more trouble seeing this is the basis of the course that I'm going to teach.
That's like, the thing, right? Yeah, even if it's trash, like it's one thing for someone to say, here's an opinion you should be aware of. It's another, like, I think the impression I got was that this was this guy's dude,
Right. Yeah.
Does bleeder mean hemophiliac?
I think
as
so,
a physical
yes.
trait? Okay, yeah. So we don't
any kind of wound might prove fatal. I was trying.
Any kind of wound might prove fatal to Balba, since her signature humors are in a hurry to escape her body. Sure. So we don't know why this is the case, but we understand that it's the case.
That's her sanguine humors. Gotta get real close to the mic to say that one.
The effect was delightful. Okay, so ugly. I'm taking a look at congenital traits. Doing a cool eugenics over here. Stuttering as a congenital trait. Okay, is that a thing? Is there any basis for that, or did people think that at some point?
I know they thought it at some point. I'm not at all sure about the reality of the situation.
Mm-hmm. Albino. That's interesting. General opinion -10. Opinion of albino characters +10. All right.
Yeah. The natural dread thing too that's relatively historical, honestly.
Sure. So many cowards here too. There's like a lot of cravens in this.
Yeah.
It's a time of cravenness. Gregarious, compassionate, generous.
It was a time of bravery. It was a time of cowardice. One of my favorite jokes is just making the beginning of A Tale of Two Cities go on forever and ever. Like, it always fucking works on me.
So, like, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the hottest of coffee, it was the coldest of coffee. It was, like, just keep going with, like...
Yeah. Generally speaking, having it be arbitrary and random is less effective than having it move in a direction slowly.
Sure.
So like it was the hottest of coffee, it was the coldest of coffee, like, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, it was the first day of the week, it was the last day of another week, it was, and then like move into
Sure.
this very specific but keep the same register. I don't know, I've probably come across it 4 or 5 times since high school, and every time it's very funny to me because I have very simple brains.
I think I was saying just privately, not on stream, a while ago, that they're the format of joke that will make me laugh every time is when you set up a rhyme and then don't rhyme. It gets me every
single time.
Jackbox has my favorite version of this. They have they're selling this thing called it's Stanton's, I think, rhyming dictionary, and it's like so check us out. Our dictionary is truly sublime. It's really the only place to go when you need 2 words that sound alike.
That's very good. I like their writing in those a lot in the sort of like first wave reboot for like the PlayStation 3 era.
Yeah.
Of You Don't Know Jack. This is not directly related, but I imagine this is a line that almost nobody heard from that game, because the question was, which of the following Muppets would have been armless as a child? So obviously it's Kermit the Frog, right? Because
Right.
tadpole and pollywogs don't have forelimbs yet. So, but they recorded this extremely long Cookie Masterson line for if you pick Fozzie Bear instead. And one of my friends in grad school, we were sitting on my couch, we were playing this game, and he like accidentally hit the wrong button and said Fozzie Bear, and Cookie just spent like 35 straight seconds berating him for his idiocy. It's like, wow, player 2, you got this question right. Everybody knows that as cubs, bears don't have arms. When they need to walk around in the forest, they just plant their chin in the leaves and push on their hind legs.
Stunning.
It was absolutely sublime.
That particular release is possibly my favorite. You don't know, Jack, because they really did just go overboard with the incredible amount of stuff that most people will simply never see.
It's really good, and like, we were just dying laughing because we were already laughing at him for picking that, and then the game just went out of its way to just point out, like, I guess they figured nobody would ever pick this unless it was a mistake, right? You know, so right. let's seize this opportunity.
Yes. Okay, real quick, how meaningful would these claims be in my life? So this young lady, actually an older lady than Rurik, but you know, but young in the great scheme of things, has claims to these 3 chiefdoms.
Sure.
So do I care?
Those are claims that could be pushed in war, but you will not have a lot to do with that.
Sure. Okay.
It's like not a bad thing,
for sure,
but it probably won't come to much of anything unless you have specific plans.
So when we talk about then alliances, what should I be looking for here? Just purely...
So alliances in particular, right, are probably, you'll want people who are relatively geographically close to you. And remember, alliances don't mean that they come into the war with you unless you are willing to spend prestige to ask them to join a war. So the amount of prestige necessary is decoupled from the actual power of that army. You know, it's going to be 75 or 150 prestige or whatever, regardless of how many troops they're bringing in.
Sure. Okay.
So in terms of alliances, finding the most powerful person is going to be the best bet. I find, especially for like siblings, nephews, lesser, non-inheriting children, I generally go with positive congenital traits and someone around their own age who is maybe not likely to murder a bunch of people. You know, because it basically it expands your dynasty, right? If they have kids and those kids get married and they have kids and those get married, like your dynasty grows, right? And that is very distantly helpful to you in the sense of, like, you know, bolstering your dynasty's prominence, but also then like your game doesn't end while there are living members of your dynasty, well, of your house, but those things are the same for now.
Okay.
But you can choose to select spouses any way you'd like. Like I said, if you're I'm assuming this is a kid of yours, but I don't know. You know, everybody gets or loses prestige from a marriage. So if you can find somebody who's of a higher rank, you know, and marry him to them, he gets some prestige. You know, great.
I gotcha. I'm overthinking this.
A lot of the marriages that you will arrange are not immensely consequential to you, but it is generally also like worth it to at least spend a minute kind of deciding, like, oh, hey, this is a good one. Sure. Because, you know, worst come to worst, you may end up playing as that person or one of their descendants, and even if it doesn't come to the worst, like, having more geniuses in your family tree is not a horrible thing.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, the only trait that I'm not sure about with her is her callousness. Which
probably makes her not going to affect you very much.
Fair enough. Better at intrigue, worse at diplomacy.
Yeah.
Okay. But Rurik does lose prestige.
Again, only meaningful if you think you're going to end up playing as him at some point.
Sure.
Or if you want him to do anything in particular, but you have a very limited set of levers over that.
Okay. Get hitched, Rurik. Okay, let's let time progress. Sorry, I'm slow.
You're fine. That's kind of the nature of the game, especially in multiplayer, being honest.
The marriage is on.
Woo! I my brain put that in kind of the same category as like the game is afoot.
The marriage is on. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a thing that I had to like explain what it actually meant to my students this past semester. Because they just thought like, and it does mean like, oh, it's going down, but like it also is like the game, as in like the thing you are hunting is afoot, as in like is on its feet, like running.
Right. That's like that's the etymological origin of the phrase, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's what Sherlock Holmes meant when he said it, which is where it
right.
enters our usage.
Right.
He was talking about hunting the
perp
as criminal who was running. Yeah. Who do I want to tutor this girl? Ruigi Kuni.
We got up to speed 4, by the way. Was that intentional?
Oh, sure. I don't have any problems with that.
Right, that's fine.
I'm positive.
As we are not currently warring too intently.
Mm-hmm. I am going to send these guys down to stop that siege, though. That's a pretty...
Every time I look at potential wars, I can declare in this game, I think about the line from the Treachery and Beatdown City theme song. Where it goes, it ain't even got to be noble, I fight for stupid reasons.
Yeah, that's very good. I was like, how does punching a helicopter work into this?
I don't think the tech tree goes that far, yeah.
No, not really. Not yet. Not until my mod is finished.
Sure.
I'm far too technically illiterate for that. I can just about use RenPy.
That ain't nothing. Okay, probably not enough to make a mod, but it ain't nothing.
Yeah, my choices of placeholder art in RenPy are the greatest source of entertainment for me so far from that.
Okay, so...
You have an event.
I do. So at first I thought the simple footman a fool for stepping onto the training field. However, the battle proved more hard-fought than I expected, and it gradually became clear that he would be unable to stop his wild and vicious strikes from hurting me. Disarming him suddenly became a matter of life and death. I tried not to show my relief when his sword finally hit the ground. So... I can invite him to court, and he likes me. I can, oh my god, I can be an imperious dick about it to gain some prestige and some piety, the former of which I could really use.
Yeah.
Or I kill him.
So here's the thing. Normally, I would say part of the reason you lost the last war is because you only had 3 champions, and so inviting him to court would not actually be a terrible idea. But you really need prestige right now.
Yeah. All right.
This is one of those things, right? About like the role play versus the mechanics, the short term versus the long term.
Yeah. Well, I don't think this is out of character. It's not a good choice, like from a moral standpoint. But
no, it's not.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. It's the flaws it expresses are flaws that I think are plausibly present in the character I'm playing.
Yeah. Very funny though.
If it had just been less of a payout, I would have resisted. But
right, yeah, no. If it had been half that, my advice would have been different. Let's see. Culture clash. Most of the commoners living in the chiefdom of Sigavara are of Sami descent. Proud of their traditions, it does not sit well with them that they must serve a foreigner like myself, when my neighbor Chieftain Ara shares their culture and history. Oh, interesting. One of the things that changed in the update is Swomanusko changed to Ukonusko.
Very interesting.
In the verbiage of the game. Yeah. So let's see. I can teach them the superiority of Finnish culture, which is lifestyle experience and stress and may not work very well. I do not care if they keep their weird traditions. which gives me a popular opinion buff, but also a culture conversion thing. Or I can gain some prestige from disrespecting their culture, which honestly is mechanically the thing that makes the most sense. Although I could instantly change them to Finnish by teaching them the superior Finnish culture, it's just a 39% chance. So, You know what? I'll take.
By the way, I missed this until right now, because YouTube was hiding it, thinking it might be an abusive message. But during that event, Renegans, am I saying your name right? Let me know if I'm saying it wrong. Just said kill him. Then said, kidding, just tuning in, and I have no idea what's happening. So I assure you, Renegans, I don't know what's happening either. But I will also let YouTube know that you were not threatening an actual flesh and blood person, but rather a person in a video game who is dead.
Yeah. Did you kill him? I thought you just lectured him.
No, you're right. I didn't kill him. I did just lecture him. So okay. So
yeah.
I did let you down, Renegans. But that's because YouTube didn't give me the damn advice. If people on screen tell me to make questionable decisions, I may be powerless.
That's really wonderful, though.
What if you were? What if he had been threatening an actual person? I wouldn't super want that.
yeah, no, but having the chat threaten the uppity peasants.
Oh yeah, you can threaten all the fictional peasants you want. This is a safe place to do that. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to spot on pause here because I'm going to have to move to try and reinforce my armies in just a second.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I got to finish this siege first. So going.
Yeah, let's do this thing.
And sieged. And reinforcing. I mean, I won't get there in time to save them, but who cares?
Sure.
Oh, my court physician now has renowned physician as a trait, which is great because as long as he's around and alive, I will probably not get super sick.
Yeah, that's
oh, never mind. I don't have to reinforce anything. My war is over. If you were to look at me, watch it. Boom. Did you see it?
Yeah.
And I got some prestige from that. This is great. Being a warmonger is awesome.
I remember when I was a warmonger before I got too big for my britches.
Honestly, what happened is that your guy died because he lost an eye at a war that I called him into.
We generally are too polite to mention that, but that is kind of what happened, yeah.
That is kind of what happened.
He lost more than an eye. He lost so much more than an eye in that war.
It was me all along.
I want him to know it was me.
Let me find somebody to give this county to, and then we can pause.
Cool.
So Pielinen, which I guess is how you say that. Jesus.
Yeah, we did pick quite a region to have to pronounce.
Well, and again, the thing that I really am slapping myself for is that I could pronounce your names. I have a medieval Germanic sound system that I like learned as part of grad school. I could get close, but Slavic and Ukranusko names, I'm completely powerless.
The overall effect has been that you know how to pronounce all the stuff that I'm mispronouncing down here in the slow lane for idiots, and
then I'm just guessing up a storm.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter because none of those names will count for much once you've conquered everything.
I suppose
things are going well for you, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm particularly on the ball, this will all work out. Let's see. Dude is Finnish. How are you a lowborn and a bastard?
That is impressive.
That's weird. Yeah.
I've had an interesting life, okay? Wait, am I lowborn? Where do you see that?
Not you. I was talking about this guy that I was trying to give this to.
Gotcha.
Yeah, sorry, not talking about you.
Helgi is a legitimized bastard for the record, but yeah.
Let's see.
Unlike his dad, who was a legitimate bastard, am I right?
Oh,
hey,
spicy takes.
Haven't checked in on my my heir in a while. Treacherous lackey isn't something I'm super looking forward to.
Well, you get to determine his personality after that.
That's true.
Although the arbitrary thing it's going to be interesting.
Arbitrary is going to be rough. Yeah, that's true.
On the other hand, quick and Midas touched is a pretty good combination.
Yeah, that's true.
And maybe I shouldn't give this territory to a lunatic.
I mean, is your goal success or is your goal entertainment? That's always the key question when we're on stream.
Ideally both, honestly. I know I'm being a little greedy there, but ideally both.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay. I managed to give that territory out, so I'm no longer over my limit, and we can proceed.
Give me 1 sec. I am possibly going to appoint a new Spymaster, because my Spymaster is garbage. Technical term.
Yeah. Currently, my Chancellor is the guy that I conquered Sweden from, so my council is
in a bit of upheaval. Okay, I can't fire another council till April 9th. No, that can't be April 9th. What did that say? The Counselor must not be fired until 9 April 896.
In 2 years.
Oh, because of all that stuff that happened.
Yeah.
I agreed to that. Okay, fine. I made my bet. I'll lie in it. Let's go.
I do a word of the day with my students. Which I honestly get a lot of questions about. Like, why do we have to do this? Because I'm the teacher. Shut up.
Well, yeah, you found your own class if you want to.
but no, it's my way of addressing vocabulary beyond just reading. I don't do like a vocabulary list for like each book or each text or anything.
Really quick, let the record show I'm grabbing the Promising Prospects perk, which should be a prodigious perk presently. I'm trying to work my way down to that gallant trait, which would be nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You were saying.
I was just saying, one of the words that I give them is one that's not actually technically in any dictionary yet that I know of. Malapropism, or sorry, Malaphor, is the word where it's like a non sequitur figure of speech.
I've never heard that word.
Yeah, so like it's not rocket surgery.
Okay.
Is an example of a Malaphor, where you. We'll burn that bridge when we get there, as an example of a Malaphor. And I like this because it's a description for a thing that exists in speech, but doesn't otherwise really have a name. And one of my students in a previous year was really taken with this idea, and so wrote her own Malaphor at the bottom of her test that I feel obliged to share with the internet because it was a wonderful one. It was... You opened this can of worms, now lie in it.
That's a good one.
Oh, it's a really good one.
It's a big can. Okay, so we do have a question from Renegans, which is, how are our wives?
I'll let you go first.
I assume that was an in-game question, not an IRL
I'm assuming
question.
it's an in-game question.
Yeah.
My real-life wife is doing fine. She's embroidering in the other room. Thank you for asking. But
that's funny because my real-life wife is fake embroidering in Animal Crossing. She made a bunch of cool textiles.
Oh, yeah. I saw some of those. Those were really good.
Yeah. But as for our in-game wives, so Chiefess, man, you told me how to pronounce it, and I've already forgotten. Probishishek?
Okay, again, I told you one way to pronounce it.
We did this to ourselves. Przizbishish. I'm gonna get it. She's fine. She's not my biggest fan, considering how married we are. Plus 19 is not like especially great as an opinion for a spouse.
Did you just say considering how married we are?
Yeah, that's what I said. I said what I meant.
I'm easily entertained, I guess, but that was really funny.
She's got that arbitrary trait, as well as that sadistic one we were talking about earlier, which doesn't necessarily mean, oh, hey, your real life wife just popped into the chat to say that your real life wives are probably doing a bit better than your in-game wives.
I hope so. I really hope so.
Considering how married we are.
Yeah, my in-game wife is 52 now, and she was having kids until she was 46. In the 9th century, so I think she's probably doing better now than she was a few years ago.
Fair enough.
But yeah, she's her name is High Chiefess Titty. T-I-T-T-I.
Everybody take a moment. It's fine.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's good. It's good.
It's fine to
She's
titter,
wrathful,
if you will.
Yeah, paranoid and gregarious, an irrational gambler, asexual, which I actually did not realize before. Seems to maybe have been a hard life for her. And then she's a gray eminence, which is actually really good for me because it means that her diplomacy is very high.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, otherwise she's doing fine. My ruler is possessed and improvident and not the best around, but you know, he could use all the help he could get.
Sure. I would like the record to show that Google or YouTube blocked a chat for the second time today, and it was your IRL wife saying titty wife. Also,
I have nothing to add. I just
no,
I'm basking in the glory of that moment.
It's internally perfect. And yes, Renegades, it is super cool that those textiles that Lauren made are based on like actual like South and Central American cultures. I think that rules. I wouldn't know how to do. I mean, I would know how to do that in Animal Crossing, like on a basic level, but I couldn't actually do it. Couldn't pull it off.
Let the record show I am listening to my IRL wife's laughter from the other room right now. It's wonderful. I was going to do another thing too. Oh, I can create a duchy title. That's what it is. I can create the Duchy of Savo.
Oh, my liege is getting raided. So do I care?
Sounds like her problem.
Yeah, it does sound like a her problem.
Again, if she hadn't, conquered you with, and I'm getting pretty close to quoting here verbatim, I am strong and you are weak. I need no other reason to invade you.
You're very close.
Her line.
Yeah. And there, I want to be clear, that is not what the trait sadistic refers to in this game.
No.
Okay. Okay, I'm good to move on whenever you are.
Hang on 1 second. I think I can actually maybe do this now. Can I found a new kingdom? Not quite. I need 44 more prestige, which is what I was trying to say, and for 170 more gold, but I am very close. I can almost taste it. Maybe I'll declare another war here soon. Let me put a rally point in and investigate my options before we unpause.
That's cool. I actually just got some raiders, so I'll probably stomp them real quick as long as we're doing things. By real quick, I mean clumsily while I fumble back into the window.
Well, that one has allies, which is not amazing. And this one just has a lot of troops generally. He's also got allies. Boo. 1163. What am I at? 3261? I could probably do it. Let me see. Conquer County, 50 piety, that's fine. Vastly inferior, good. Question is, which county? Probably Sisma. An island extends me a little bit in a way I'm not super fond of.
Sometimes I try to do some cinematography up in your region while you're describing this stuff. But
yeah. It's a little strange when we're paused on my account and you can't see any of that stuff. But I'm trying to decide between trying to conquer Sisma, Tavasts, or Nyland at the moment, if that helps you focus your attention. They're all ruled by the same guy, and I'm going to need all of them if I'm going to be Finland, like Kingdom of. Mm-hmm. But I was going to try and conquer Mesukila, I guess. But he's got allies that punch pretty hard, so...
Sure.
Not currently doing that. I'm going to go for Sisma, I think. Let's go ahead and declare that war for 50 piety, move my rally point.
Yeah, being able to spend piety to declare war, that is a good life hack.
Yeah, for real though.
Because
once you're feudal, right, a lot of that stuff actually gets more expensive, but your economy also gets more robust.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, as folks can see, I'm rich in piety, quite poor in prestige.
Yeah.
I also want the record to show I keep looking back over at the chat to see if anyone else has said anything, and I have laughed at Titty Wife 6 times.
It's very funny. We are both relatively long-lived at this point for the time scale that this particular game has gone on, and honestly, she's been a great queen, but her name is just High Chiefess Titty, which is very funny.
I wouldn't ask you to pretend it's not funny.
I like to imagine the person who put that name on that spreadsheet for this culture, laughing while they did it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that happened, but I would like to imagine it. Foreign title. What are you heir to? Oh, other jarldoms. Oh. Okay. Well, you're not. I just excuse me, discovered a problem that I might have in the future.
What's that?
The Jarl of Uppland that I conquered, I just made him my vassal. I didn't take his lands personally for myself for the most part. Or give them out to people who are just, loyal to me. He's going to inherit neighboring jarldoms. So unless I am a king by the time that inheritance happens, then I stand to lose those territories when he inherits.
Because interesting.
He will ascend to my rank and no longer consider himself my vassal. So anyway, I am good to unpause when you are.
I've got a quick stupid question. So
I have a quick stupid answer.
That's my favorite kind. So I have oh my. So we have some light flirting going on in the chat. So I have 1266 unraised soldiers. And is that because they're levies? Yeah, that is why, isn't it? Because I have 706 might headed over to the Raiders, but they're 851 strong. So in theory, I'm likely to lose that, right?
Your screen should actually kind of give you an idea. If you are moving to where you are going to actually have a fight with them, then, well, the hostile army there is not 851. That army is not hostile to you.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
The army that's hostile to you is 1147.
Yeah, which is bad news.
But what I was gonna say is, if you are moving into a place that will create a battle, I will try to show it to you now that we don't have the stream lag, because I'm watching your thing on Discord rather than on the YouTube page. I will try to show you the thing that will tell you what the outcome is likely to be.
Okay.
Because I tried to bring it out previously, but it is hard to spot if you don't know what to look for necessarily.
Sure.
And I think you have the ability to raise. Yeah, that army is still mustering. It's going to be 1266.
Oh, I see. That's why. Because we
so if you cancel that move order, they will continue to muster.
Understood.
Yeah, that's what that little 3 arrows underneath your 706 means.
So I'm gonna I'll tell them to chill out for a unit of time, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, you should be able to see how many days that's going to take actually. If you select that army. Gathering 3 days left.
Yeah, I see. Okay,
down at the bottom there.
Gotcha. Understood. Thank you. There's this is a hot take. There's a lot of information on screen in this game. That's the main reason we're not showing both of our screens, right? Because it would just be so much.
Take.
Okay, shall we?
Yeah, we shall. I'm going to be spot pausing for this war, by the way, just to let you know.
That's fine.
So I will not necessarily be announcing every time I pause and unpause, but...
I mean, luckily, there's a big old paused on the screen whenever you pause.
Right. Yeah. I do try to be, like, kind of aware-ish. But... Okay, let's see. Okay, unpausing. So I think I can probably send one of these armies over to defend my territory from their retaliation. Uh-oh. I have a dangerous faction.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I have some Norse Asatru populists.
Peasant rabble, you say? Other stuff has happened too.
Oh.
I swayed High Chiefess Virga, so she likes me a little better, which is groovy. Increased my military presence, stomped those raiders, but Marshall took care of business. And then this faction created against me, so a peasant rabble.
I do enjoy the idea of your Slavyanskan high chief saying groovy.
This is where it came from, actually. It's pronounced differently. Yeah, groovy.
I was trying to figure out how a Slavic accent would sound on the word groovy, and it's actually really hard.
So Joanne asks, can we have countries named after us? And the answer is, I think, yes, but not the way we're currently playing, right? Isn't there kind of an anything goes naming convention mode here, or am I?
No, that you can literally just click on anything, and there's a little quill pin next to it, and you can rename it.
Okay, so that's a lot easier than I was thinking it was.
Yeah. Let me. I don't have a problem doing that if you don't have a problem with it happening in our game.
It's fine. Yeah, it's completely fine. Let me see if I can watch it happen. Are you renaming?
So if you zoom in a little bit, which where you can see the individual county titles.
Sure. So I'm looking. So
and then pan over to Mustasari, which is going to be my my capital once I finish building it up. That's to your left.
To my left.
Yeah. Southwest of Oulu.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and do this renaming here.
All right.
Name. Let's see. The question is, do I name it after the screen name? I think I do. Which I believe that... Well, I actually don't know. Let me see. Back to chat. Okay, no, she's using her real name. So I'll do the same. Let's go with previously when I did this in a single a local multiplayer not streamed game in Poland, it was Transylvania. So I think I'm going to try to finish it up here a little bit. So I'm going to make it Ioannalu.
Do we see that when time moves forward? Because I'm not seeing it.
Well, I'm not done yet because I have to also put the adjective in.
Oh, I see. Renegans is concerned that is not enough land for her. I mean, it'll expand.
Well, it's my capital too, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
That was my thinking.
It's going to be the chiefdom
of Ioannulu.
Yes.
And so you should see it approximately now.
Yes. Let the record show that we do.
So, interestingly enough, the barony is still called Mustasari, but the county is called Ioannulu. Oh, I can change the barony too. Oh, this is amazing. Hang on.
This is a good video game.
I like it. I like it a lot, as it happens.
I scrolled away.
I accidentally put 3 A's in this.
We can just like the more expansive the territory gets, the more A's we get. Until it is Ioannulu.
Okay, so we've got the chiefdom of Ioannulu and the... Okay, actually, I'm going to make them match. Is what I'm going to do. There we go. 2 A's.
I will completely name something after Lauren when I have something worthy of her. I am a fallen chieftain at the moment. I would not insult her by naming this crap after her. I'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, I am good to unpause now.
Okay, let me go home real quick here. So let me just really quick investigate this Peasant Rebellion, which I assume I will now be putting down. Also, that faction to install my brother on the Novgorodian throne is going actually. Not amazing, but
yeah, it's past the point where they can like declare their intentions once their discontent is built up.
Interesting. Okay, well, you gotta crush peasant rebellions in this game.
Well, I mean, that's your Liege's problem at the moment.
Yeah, that's true.
That faction isn't against you.
That's true. Oh, that's interesting. I thought the message said Yeah, faction created against you.
Oh, right. Well, you're not looking at the U tab right now. If you click to the Against You tab at the top of the factions panel, you'll probably see the same thing, but it's not.
Gotcha. Different peasant rabble entirely. Understood.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They have 4 years before they can send an ultimatum at the rate they're going.
Sounds like I could probably just go ahead and take care of this right now anyway. So what do I do about this?
I mean, not much, honestly. The peasant rabble thing is not something that you can.
Okay, so if until they're actually fighting, there's not. Okay.
Because they want lower control, you could just,
could give it to them, but why?
Well, I don't think you really have a decision that will do that. You really only have.
I don't have much control anyway. Yeah.
Man, once I get my kingdom declared and have my succession kind of solidified that way, I am going to have a lot of fun pouring my prestige into making my retinues bigger. Yeah. I say retinues, they're men-at-arms in this game. They were retinues in Crusader Kings 2. But that's just a sticky part of my dialogue.
Is that a historically meaningful distinction, or are they it's like a more broadly applicable term, or is it basically 1-to-1?
Well, I mean, mechanically it's 1-to-1. Historically speaking, the
that was the teacher sigh.
Well, and so the thing is they were called retinues, I think, in Crusader Kings 2 because they were introduced with the Legacy of Rome expansion. And so they were kind of something that were introduced across the board, but they were kind of intended mechanically initially to be involved in the Byzantine Empire and its politics. And so I think they were kind of intended to be specific to that in a way. And so it would be kind of more accurate to call them men-at-arms for like England and France, let's say. I think honestly, retainer is usually how it is referred to generically when we're talking about things like Northern Europe. These would be like your Huscarls, in Scandinavian history or in Skyrim, take your pick. Sure. People who got
is there a difference between those two things?
Gifts of wealth and power and responsibility from their liege for essentially being their standing army.
Sure. Okay. That was interesting, and to your point, has no bearing on our current play. So,
well, and it's not like they couldn't have made them Huscarls for Norse people and found all the individual localized words, but I think it probably wouldn't have been an amazing use of development resources.
Well, and it would also like part of what's cool about these games is you can jump from culture to culture, and you basically, if you've learned the mechanics of one, most of the mechanics of other. There could be specifics, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you did that, if you had culture specific synonyms for most things, that would just make it more confusing. Your skills would be less transferable.
Yeah. And that's the thing I don't mind creeping in over time as people get used to the mechanics, honestly, because I do think it's kind of cool that, like, if there are certain places in Crusader Kings 2 that have different names depending on which culture holds them.
Sure.
Ireland is Eir if it is Celtic, for instance. Britannia is Alba if the holder of the title is Celtic and not Anglo-Saxon. That's kind of neat, but also it would be easy to go overboard with it.
Yes,
in my opinion, it is subjective.
There's some drama in the chat that I don't know if you're catching. But.
I'm primarily watching your screen and then backing out of the stream to save bandwidth, but I'm not amazingly surprised. School teacher intensifies. Oh, hi, Robin.
How's it going,
awesome.
Robin? Hey, Rennigan.
Awesome.
Rennigans, I actually was, and I was just trying to make sure that all of the flirting is good-natured flirting, and all the joking is good-natured joking. I may be overprotective, but I just want to make sure chat stays friendly around these parts.
Chat seems friendly. I am happy with chat. It is exciting to have people watching. We should probably unpause, actually, so that they have something to watch.
It's a good plan. Welcome from the shadows, Robin.
Thank you for tuning in. I don't have the chat up, but boy, if you need explanations of anything that's going on, do feel free to say, because it's complicated.
I 100% thought you were going to say, if you need explanations of anything going on, good luck with that.
I guess I could have said, feel free to go back to previous episodes, but, you know, that seems like a big ask.
Robin, or should I call you Renegans? Welcome to the light. You actually did freak me out for a second there. I'm not gonna lie to you.
All right. Let's see. I won a battle. So now let me use that army to siege people.
I won a battle that wasn't technically a slaughter. That feels very circumspect and nice.
But it must be especially nice not to be the slaughtery.
I mean, yeah, on the hierarchy of what I would like. A commoner of Estonian heritage has been accosted in the streets of Homegarthur over some minor offense. By making Homegarthur. Homegarthur, God, I'm gonna get it, I swear. It's the little thorn messes me up everything. Okay, in the streets of Homegarthur.
It's an F.
You're an F. Let's try this.
Sorry for the pedantry.
I'm going to take this again, Herr Pedant. A commoner of Estonian heritage has been accosted in the streets of Homegarthur over some minor offense. By making a statement in their defense, I could perhaps convince my liege, High Chiefess Virga, the equally Estonian. I like that we have a hierarchy of Estonianness here, of my good character, but I might risk alienating my Norse peers. That's interesting.
Apparently you're you're culturally Norse. You're religiously Slavyanska Pravda.
That's right.
I love the epithet High Chiefess Virga, the equally Estonian.
Yeah, I think actually Adam does have to flex on us like this, pronunciation wise. That's half of what we're tuned in for.
I am just attempting to get us into good habits, that's all. And frankly, to make up for my abysmal pronunciation of Suomi names and titles and place names by showing that I know how to pronounce the Germanic ones.
Sure. Okay, so if I say Estonians are good people, which for the record, IRL, sure, totally, then High Chiefess Virga within the game will like me better, but I will lose 75 prestige and gain 10 stress because I am arrogant. And in the game, if I say that Norse people are superior, I gain 75 prestige and there are no drawbacks. And again, I kind of need prestige.
You can't lose 75 prestige without going negative, so
yeah.
It's a mechanical right answer here.
Looks like I'm a Norse supremacist now. Onward.
Yeah, I believe I called you Ulfric Stormcloak in a previous episode, and if I just knew how right I was.
That was what you call foreshadowing.
I hope this is entertaining our audience as much as it is entertaining me. Because it's entertaining me a lot.
I mean, every so often, we get very few live viewers, but we do get people who watch the archives. And now we have friends under pseudonyms causing chaos in the chat during the live show. So, that's always good. There was the briefest moment where I thought there was both a Renegans and a Robin, that you coexisted. And boy, what a chaotic moment that was. Oh boy. Also, I don't know if you saw Robin's comment. Oh, real quick. I don't know if you saw Robin's comment that you are a force of chaos, and I appreciate that about you. But she said, you know how someone went to grad school? They'll tell you. Which is true. I resemble that remark. You were saying.
I have an event. Romance. A declaration of love. I'm walking the gardens with some of the lords at court when I notice my courtier, Sigalsis, approaching. I step aside to let her pass, but to my great surprise, she blocks my path and kneels before me. Before I have time to properly process this turn of events, Sigalsis begins to sing. To my great dismay, the woman cannot carry a tune to save her life.
Oh, no.
It takes a while before I'm able to identify the song. It's a famous Finnish love ballad. She has altered the lyrics to include my name and mentions of my physical appearance, ruining the rhythm even further. Oh my god, this lady is me in high school.
You've been visited by the ghost of you past. So So this is an event. Do you have a choice? What can you do about this?
Yeah, the two that I could do are "You flatter me, my lady," which is Sigalsis von Sane will attempt to win my heart, or abandon this foolish endeavor immediately in italics. Ends Sigalsis von Sane's scheme to romance you. Lady, I really don't need this. I just don't.
In chat, Joanne says, "Oh no, I love her."
Okay. Out of character, yeah, she's amazing. In character, boy, it's just asking for trouble.
Yeah.
It's not like she brings anything to the table, unfortunately. She's just a courtier. She doesn't have claims.
We literally learned
anything.
in this episode that singing has healing properties.
That's true. That's true. A child tenor sang you out of your illness.
Sang me out of my illness. I just... So you're checking no in that box where she said, "Did you?"
Yes.
Do you
yes.
like me? Okay.
I told her to end her scheme. Abandon this foolishness immediately. I apparently was very harsh, which is unfortunate, but unpausing.
That's what you call swiping. Oh no, I just realized I don't know which way you swipe to say no on Tinder. That way. Okay.
Lecht.
Let's go with Lecht. So,
yeah.
Aleta comes of age. I'm proud to see my daughter no longer as a child, but as an adult. With sufficient tutelage, even a child that has displayed little natural inclination toward diplomatic influence, such as Aleta, can come to truly understand it. With an excellent grasp of all manners of etiquette and understanding of all kinds of entertainment, and the eloquence to go with it, she will have little trouble navigating a life at court.
Wonderful. I guess that's...
Yeah, she gets the trait charismatic negotiator, so diplomacy +6.
That's cool. So that's the 3-star. You can be a gray eminence, which is the 4-star.
That's right.
But she is the second highest tier there.
Man, I'm much more stoked on my younger children than my older child, but that happens in these games.
Yeah, really unfortunate, but sadly, ultimogeniture is extremely difficult to implement in this particular game.
I did it in the one time we really played Crusader Kings 2 semi-seriously. I managed to do ultimogeniture, but then that child's child was just a nightmare. So
yeah. Well, and it's a lot easier in Crusader Kings 2 to install ultimogeniture.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And it is a little bit of a cheat. I say it. Cheese strategy may be the better term there.
Sure. Oh, actually, I need to, now that Aleta has come of age, I need to figure out who she's going to marry.
Well, in this case, I do have potential prospects.
Who do you?
My scaly son is 15, so we could betroth them.
When you say scaly, is that a metaphor? No, this is the guy with the skin condition. He's actually scaly.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm not counting him out just because he's scaly. Name your scaly son. Who is this person?
Hapa, Haapa. He is diligent, humble, honest, and bossy, which is a childhood trait that I don't know what's going to become of it in the next year.
So this is
not bad.
All right, let's see here. So scaly is the name of the trait.
It is.
He's honest. He's humble, like you said. He's diligent. Joining our houses more closely is always a good thing. Scaly is a congenital trait. Okay, let's have the witch lizards rule this continent within a few generations.
Let's make David Icke right.
We're actually, we're doing like the, how like Tolkien came up with Elfish, and then he was like, how do I make this make sense from a historical perspective? We are making an alt history that resulted in David Icke being right.
Well, I say that, but I think he also has cannibal pedophile lizard people, which hopefully we will not get to.
No, I hope not too. Is that him? I didn't know he did cannibal pedophiles. I thought he stopped at lizard people. I haven't read a ton of David Icke, but I thought the main thing about his whole thing was that he just never goes anywhere with it. It's just like, there are lizard people, also there are lizard people. I don't know the difference between constellations and star systems. Also, there are lizard people. I didn't know it went into the more QAnon-y stuff.
I'm not entirely certain because my entire exposure to him comes through podcasts. I have not read any of his stuff because, boy, life is too short.
There is a wonderful book of modern philosophy by Elizabeth Sandifer called Neo-Reaction, a Basilisk. It's best known for an essay on like the Frankfurt School of Economics. that's been quoted by, I think, Ian Danskin of Innuendo Studios a few times, but there's a really good David Icke related essay in that one called Lizard People, Ladies and Gentlemen, just talking about how, like, if you're a philosopher and your move is lizard people, here's, like, it's unforgivable how boring the rest is. Here's how you should use that move. It's very good. So... By the way, we're arguing about whether lizard people are a good idea or not is being argued vigorously in chat.
Yeah,
really not even. We just think it is.
Wikipedia says Icke combines New Age philosophical discussion about the universe and consciousness with conspiracy theories about public figures being reptilian, humanoids, and pedophiles. So I think I added cannibal.
Okay, yeah, that might be you adding QAnon stuff. I'm going to start the clock. By the way, we can still talk about David Icke though.
Yeah.
I did not know about the pedophile stuff. I knew Jews worked because, like, you were saying that Atlantis is like alt history, the center square on alt history bingo. Jews are the center square on conspiracy theory bingo.
Exactly.
Betrothal proposition. Hey,
woo.
Oh, look at you! Look at you with your beard.
My magnificent beard.
It's pretty good.
I have to live out my beard fantasies in these games.
I don't know how much longer quarantine's going to last, but I might end up with my character's beard here by the end.
We can hope.
High Chief
Hapa has come of age, so they are getting married. And I have joined a war for Rurik's claim on the High Chiefdom of Novgorod. Oops. I think I'm fighting against your...
You are. Brother Bjorn is officially attacking. Yeah.
So I really thought that I was clicking accept on that marriage.
Look, you win some, you lose some.
So here's the thing. I'm just going to stay out of this. I have a war going on already. They can figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want your brother to be your liege?
Yeah, that would be cooler. Well, hold on. Let's remember what's up with Chieftain Bjorn here. He's a rapacious adventurer, which is a lovely description. He's a charismatic negotiator.
This is the wrong guy.
Oh, you're right. It is.
Because he's a eunuch. He can't inherit titles. So
I was about to be very interested in the fact that a eunuch was getting installed on the throne.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's actually go over to factions. Against my liege. So this guy, right? Too many Ruriks in this family. Okay, content empath.
This guy's name is literally Rurik, Rurikson, Rurikin. Just wanted to point that out.
I don't know if the genetics are strong in our family, but the naming conventions definitely are. Paranoid, fickle, content, and compassionate. How you can be paranoid and content is very interesting to me. But I mean, obviously, they're independent traits in this game.
Sure. I think it would be a situation where you wanted everything to stay exactly the same, but you were afraid that everybody else was going to come and change it for you.
Yeah. No, Robin, to my everlasting shame, I did not make a Rurikson Rurikin happen. That just sort of happened. The algorithm did that.
Yeah.
I had a Jarl Rurik who I guess the family really wanted to impress before the whole getting killed and stuff thing. I mean, so what is mechanically the advantage of having a close relative as your liege? Is there one necessarily? I mean, you still just play as the next heir to your person, right?
Sure. It adds to the prestige of your dynasty if you have more people in more positions of power.
Mm-hmm.
You are... there's a chance that they'll like you either much more or much less based on being your relative. So, shrug there, I suppose.
Gotcha.
Hard to say. The other thing, I guess, would be that he has all those claims that he would be in a better position to press if he was a liege. That could be a good or a bad thing, depending on how you look at it.
Okay.
I guess the other thing to keep in mind is that you are Slovianska Pravda, he is Asatru. You are both Norse, but him being in charge means more Asatru religion in the area, very likely.
Oh, interesting.
And if he's got sway, right, like he may demand conversion from you if he's your liege. He may make the difference in like other people in your dynasty being Asatru. Mm-hmm. And that therefore subsequent characters of yours being Asatru instead of Slovianska Pravda. I mean, I don't know if you have a preference as to which religion you play as.
I'm just looking to make a society of witch lizards, to be honest.
Fair enough. Yeah, so your liege currently is my religion and cultural group, if not culture. I'm Finnish, she's Estonian, but we're both, Finno-Urgic cultures. So...
All right, I'm going to take a wait-and-see approach, but are you asking whether I would like you to switch sides? And
no, that's too late for that.
Okay, well, then here we are.
What I can do is I can send troops or not send troops. I can help.
Got it.
I can help him lose, or I can do nothing.
I'm not even sure it matters to my immediate plans.
Yeah, fair enough.
Which feels
we can let the systems decide what happens to us.
Yeah, let the market decide. Sure. Here we go. Sorry, that was evil.
These systems are far less cruel in the market,
and far more logical, and far better at giving you an interesting or useful outcome. Okay, let's go.
And I would point out that these systems often result in things like incest and child murder. So this is a pretty strong condemnation.
Okay,
but yes, let's go.
We got 99 problems, but neoliberalism ain't one here in this playthrough.
Oh man,
Novgorod is under siege, right? Bjorn.
Cool. I can enforce demands in this war. Huzzah!
Nice.
Take your stuff.
They're gonna be so happy.
Prisoners can be ransomed. Yes. Money.
That was like such a great piece of heel turn voice acting there.
I'm glad. Good. All right, before we unpause, I'm going to grant this chieftaindom, I guess. However you would decide that worked, to somebody.
Chiefery, I believe, is the proper term.
Chiefery. The icon for the trait irritable is a wasp's nest.
That's lovely, actually.
Some of these are really good. The Screaming Moon for Lunatic is just real chef's kiss, too.
Yeah, that one's great. I don't know if you've seen Stubborn for which
it's a donkey, I think, right? Like yelling at you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very good. Oh, hey, that seems to have freed Tavasts from being somebody's liege, so I can probably just immediately turn around and steamroll them. Wonderful. I mean, I can't do it now because I still got levies up, but here we go. Unpausing.
Okay.
Yeah, if I ever get enough money before I die... Oh, I'm missing a little bit of piety too, but I gain that relatively quickly, I think. Maybe I won't declare any more wars for a minute. I'll try to become a king first. This is an event I have not seen.
Ooh, what is
Plush and exotic carpet. A plush carpet, vibrant and soft, arrives as a gift from High Chieftain Baivi.
So I know about this one from Twitter. This is a suspicious gift because it makes it harder to hear an assassin coming.
Yeah. Why would he send me such an exquisite gift? Why he would send me such an exquisite gift, I do not know, but the fine weave of the carpet is as pleasing to the touch as the skin of a lover. And also, this is the guy that I conquered in Sweden, so I don't trust him.
Sounds like a slightly murdery gift, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. So I can say the carpet will cover the floors in my rooms, which is plus 20% prestige or hostile scheme resistance minus 10, or I think I better get rid of it, which gives me money and extra vigilant for 10 years, which honestly, prestige is great, but money at the moment is a little harder to come by for me. So I'm going to just sell it and also ransom some more prisoners. The things I say casually in this game.
You know, Joanne, this game is largely, for me anyway, it's a storytelling engine.
Yeah.
So it's inherently more fun with people. Like, I enjoy playing it alone, but it's mostly about, like, talking about it. It's about, you know, as with any kind of story, it's better. It comes into being when people agree that it exists. On the other hand, Joanne says that carpet is so soft.
It really is. It was sad to get rid of it, frankly. I have not been again looking at the stream chat or the stream in general consistently because I'm trying to keep my bandwidth. Joanne and I are both streaming this in various ways, so
that's fine.
We have had problems with our bandwidth in the past, but boy, this is a lot of fun with an audience as well. All right.
Yeah, thank you both for joining. That makes it extra delightful.
Unpausing. I'm doing all right as an expansionist power here in Finland.
I'm really like this. I have mostly been biding my time here and getting my prestige back so I can actually start to do things.
Yeah, for sure. You had a little bit of a deficit to come back from, to be sure.
And that is going fine.
Yeah, well, it looks like other allies did come to Virga's aid, and that the faction is not going especially.
Yeah.
Not meeting with a lot of success.
Virga knows what's up, I gotta say. Ooh, yeah, it's probably for the best I didn't cast in my lot with Rurik's claim on this one.
Yeah, I mean, how many troops do you have at best?
Me? I mean, like 2,000 less.
You may have actually been able to sway the scales there.
Well, now I feel terrible. Okay.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Virga is somebody that you have a lot of reasons if you ever want to topple her, whereas your brother, you might struggle for some.
That's a fair point.
Who do I want to be my steward? Actually, my best one is also the powerful vassal who's most pissed at me, so... I guess that works fine.
Yeah. So as I near daughter Niwasodga's chambers, I'm gonna get these right someday. As I near daughter Niwasodga's
that one is
chambers.
Very strange and difficult. It's definitely Slavic and not Norse.
We're a melting pot here in this part of the world.
Yeah, I think you got pretty close though, honestly.
Yeah. Thank you. I won't try it again. I'll quit while I'm ahead. As I near her chambers, I hear a horrifying scream, barely human and full of pain. I burst into the room only to find her collapsed in a heap on the floor, covered in blood. Gesundheit, says Robin. Thank you. The blathering physician is standing in the corner of the room, anxiously wringing her hands. That's not great.
No, it's not. Disastrous mistreatment.
Yeah. Okay, so botched disease treatment has happened.
Yes, it will not unhappen.
So the question here is mostly what happens to the doctor.
Yeah, and your option.
I can put her in prison. I can forgive her, or I can simply chastise her. Now, what does chastised physician do? That means the physician will think twice next time.
+1 learning makes her a better physician, but -1 prestige is a bit of a punishment. However, it doesn't seem to affect her opinion of you.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, she did clearly fuck up, so...
Yeah, exactly.
You really should look at the chat every so often. I will say no more at the moment.
I mean, I do pop in every so often.
Sure.
But I try to keep it up because I'm trying to be conscious of the bandwidth.
Okay, we're going to take an oopsie on my daughter being covered in blood, and we're going to move on.
Rick Rowe. That's very good. It's very good as the thing.
Okay. The covered in italics is just okay.
Yeah. It's very evocative. Ooh, I get a new stewardship perk. Don't mind if I do.
Oh yeah, very nice. I just like the implication that it's like, now, the phrase covered in blood gets thrown around a lot these days. But... There's a bunch of activity around me, but it's all just raiding. It doesn't really matter much. Mm-hmm. I mean, if I get raided, I'll do a little stomping. But martial lifestyle perk.
Yeah, when most of the people in an area are currently, I mean, until you get to what's the nearest one here? Great Moravia is the nearest feudal territory for us. Everything else is tribal. Right. Around us and off to the east until you get to clan organization in the Samanid and Taurid territories.
Sure.
Raiding is very common within those circumstances. It's a primary way to make money.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I will be doing it once I have a little bit more of a baseline.
Oh,
so I unlocked a perk. I get along with my wife better. That's great. Cool. On the not as great side, my brother just lost his war. He's imprisoned. Not super unexpected, but also my niece was taken prisoner.
And 3 others, as it turns out.
Yeah.
So presumably his whole family, when that siege of his
that makes sense
capital area went through.
So again, one thing I could do about this is nothing.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that there's much you can do about it.
Right. Yeah. I don't really have it's not like I have leverage here.
Well, and you're not the person that would be ransoming them. Your brother would be. Also, click on that blunder results in claim one. You have an unpressed claim to the chiefdom of Rusa. You can take that from your brother or half brother.
That's interesting.
Currently, you have a claim now. You should be able to do it pretty easily while he is in prison and has 1 county. So if you find him, I don't know what the authority looks like. I guess. I don't know if High Chiefess Virga allows that among her vassals, but that might not be a bad thing to do. Let me look at the ducal map here, the Jarldom map. That would give you are currently primarily confined, I think, to Novgorod and Vespia. Is that correct? Yes. So this would give you another place in Novgorod. I believe, if you took... Oh, no, she already took Rusa from him. So what can you actually claim? Or what can you actually press?
That's what I was trying to ask you, I think.
Okay. Well, okay, sorry. I see what happened here. I get it now. She revoked Rusa from him when she took him prisoner. He forfeited his right.
So it's hers now. So I'd be pressing a claim against her.
Exactly. She has 2 counties now, Tartu and Rusa.
I see. So that might be something I do, but not right now.
Not right now. Having the claim is good, but not pressing it means that it will disappear when you die.
Right.
So there is a ticking clock on the claim. You don't have to have a claim, but especially within a closed feudal system like you and your liege, it does help.
Right. I am 47.
So, just one moment. I am currently able to found a kingdom.
Oh, are you now?
I just got the notification that I can now found a kingdom because I'm no longer at war. However, I'm going to look at the Kingdom of Finland first because I'm probably pretty close. I need 1 more county in Finland to grab that title. So do I want to make my own and then get Finland? Having an extra title wouldn't be terrible, but I'm going to want 1 kingdom title for the time being so that my realm doesn't split. I'm going to hold off for now. I think I'm 1 war away from being able to claim the pre-existing Kingdom of Finland without spending quite so much money and stuff.
That sounds legit.
I think. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do for now. I do need to get it, and I am in my 50s, but I think I can do 1 more war. I think.
Yeah, I think if I take on Virga without some serious allies, that's not going to end well for me.
Yeah, well, I'm currently your ally and her ally, so I don't know how that's going to work out exactly.
I mean, what I'm saying is I'm not going to, even if it means losing that claim in my lifetime, I don't want to screw up your kingdom making, because, besides that being your goal and it being fun and it being entertaining on stream, it's also going to do me more good in the long run to have you in that position than to have you beggar yourself in a Pyrrhic victory.
On the other hand, I didn't get notified of it when it happened, but I did lose most of Sweden that I had taken to Östergötland when succession happened for that title. So I'll have to redo that in the future. But, I'm now much more of a strength with most of Sweden. Denmark probably is a problem for me in the future, but it's a little ways away, It doesn't have to be right now. All right. So I am ready to unpause when you are.
Give me 30 seconds to grab a glass of water.
No, yeah, take your 30 seconds. I will smack talk you the whole time.
Do it.
Okay, I think he's gone now. I was talking about how everybody needs a Drew friend earlier, and it's true. But I also want to shout out to our chat because our friend Robin is amazing. Obviously, my wife is amazing. But you know, they're both also involved in that other project I was mentioning before, which should see the light of day any day now. And we really appreciate them tuning in and giving us some peanut gallery and some cheerleading section. I'm not looking at the chat right now, so if you guys are talking about it, then I acknowledge and appreciate everything you are saying, I'm sure, but it's not currently in front of my eyes. Apologies for that, but both quite lovely, and the whole internet should know it. That's probably at least 30 seconds, so I think Drew is running late now. For anybody watching this on stream or in archive, my next war I think is going to be of Mesokila. And that should give me enough of Finland, and then I can use de jure claims to get a lot of the rest of it if I need to. The Kingdom of Finland being actually surprisingly large. I have some territory outside of it already even, but that will help make my realm cohesive when I die, is the main advantage there.
I'm back. I don't know what I missed, but there's some squeeing in the chat. And
oh yeah. I think they're cheerleading the trash I was talking about you.
Aw, that's nice.
So
read me for filth, Adam. Aw, you anti-trash talked me. That's very sweet.
God damn it, they told. I asked them not to tell.
This is why we have to invent alter egos in order to be unkind to each other, or even simply not overwhelmingly supportive.
Well, you know what? If I didn't, if I had shitty friends, maybe I wouldn't be overwhelmingly supportive. But I have amazing friends, so.
Huh.
All right, I think I'm going to go ahead and declare this war on Masakila. It costs 50 piety, but that's okay. I should be fine. Conquer the county, raise my armies. Here we go.
Let's do it.
I don't want to call any allies in. Costs prestige. Think I'm made of prestige?
I don't know. Is that a thing? Are you made of prestige? Is that how this game works?
I do have 500 I do have 500 presently, was what I was trying to say.
Right.
But I'm only gaining 0.8 per month at the moment, so a lot of that is from events and such.
I'm very nearly made of piety, so yeah.
Yeah, no, you have quite a bit. I only have 238 piety. If you are able under your current crown authority to declare wars of your own, I don't think you're reinforcing very much militarily, so you may be able to start kind of expanding within Estonia, bringing things into the Estonian fold under your direct supervision, if you decide to.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, being a powerful...
That's a good idea.
Yeah, being a powerful... But yeah, I'm ready to unpause whenever you are.
Let's do this thing, yeah.
Unpausing, I guess. Okay. War begin 31 troops.
Oops.
I have more. 4,200 troops.
My niece and nephew are out of prison. That's groovy.
Yeah, I mean, especially for them.
Yeah. Bjorn is also out of prison.
Yeah, now just a siege. Okay, they do have an ally who has 1,400 troops. So that's not nothing. But war should last about 8 months.
Okay, unpausing.
Mm-hmm. La Luna is under siege, is it? Well, I can fix that in 6 months. Ooh, it's going to be close, actually.
Real quick, we got a demonstration of leadership. So, my liege, High Chiefess Virga, has been hovering around my council meetings lately. Knowing her interest in matters of leadership, I cannot help but feel that the woman is waiting for me to impress her. I could probably engage her in conversation. On the other hand, it might be better for her to simply see me interacting with my men. There is something to be said for at least pretending to know every soldier's face. So, let's see. I can gain some martial lifestyle experience and have her gain some opinion of me. Or I can gain that same experience, and rather than improving her opinion of me, I become a respected figurehead, which gives me a levy reinforcement bonus.
Ain't nothing, but also, like, meh. What does do for you, respective figurehead?
It means my levies go faster. God darn it. Sorry. Plus 25% levy reinforcement.
So if you are planning to go to war soon, that would be actually quite valuable, but...
I mean, I might squeeze in a couple small wars of conquest before I die, so let's go for it.
All right. Give me just a moment before we unpause. I'm stationing some besiegers, but if I do that with the function station besiegers, it takes all of my good troops out of my army.
Sure.
So I am opting instead to leave slightly more people, and but of a lower quality.
Yeah.
So,
Joanna, I have a similar thing where whenever like something in my brain does get, when we talk about my niece, my nephew, my wife in this game, it's like, oh God, what happened, right? But it's
it's
just video
exactly.
games. But then I also have the opposite thing where, like, especially early in this playthrough, it was like, well, my concubine seems to be, and it's like, well, wait a minute. There's so much mundanity in this, but then so much, like, just strangeness unstuck from time.
Right, yeah. Well, and you can't have concubines anymore because you're Slovianska Pravda. They don't do concubines. Whereas I, as an Ukanusko, I was even able to take some of my prisoners as concubines.
That's kind of it's kind of ooky, but
yeah, which is really bad. Yeah.
I actually was losing piety for not having enough concubines early on.
That's true. That's true. I don't think I faced that problem. Yeah, I don't think that's a particular feature of my religion. But
and we have to remind me, when we started this up, we tuned it to sexual mores are based on, roughly historical versions of what these actual cultures believed. But you can set it to just...
Oh, yeah. You can make it basically agnostic.
Yeah. History being a lot more queer friendly than it unfortunately has actually been. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, like, I've done in multiplayer games before, and it plays actually pretty well. I think part of our purpose for this particular one was to create our own alt history. Right.
So if those mores are going to lift, we want to lift them by...
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, let's do this thing. And Robin reminds you not to enjoy your concubines, Adam.
I enjoy having a secure dynasty from having lots of children. I do not particularly enjoy the concubinage process.
Is that better or worse with the?
I don't know, but mechanically, this game does really. It is a little similar to something like or 6 Ages in that it rewards playing into the systematic framework that you are currently located in. Right? Mechanically. It is better to have more children. Sure. You were getting penalized for not having enough concubines, things like that.
Really quick, I'm just trying to decide what war to declare, and I'm having quite a time figuring out what's a good idea.
Okay, so let's see. You are in Tikvin. So foreign wars that you could declare come down to Luki or Biarmia, more or less, right? Like, those are your neighboring places that are not part of your Kingdom of Estonia.
Sure.
Luki
is kind of a sizable situation,
but
though.
The top liege can only really call up about 200 troops. Jarl Orvar Bjornsson of Luki, who is related to you somehow. He is a grandson of High Chieftain Rurik the Troublemaker.
Interesting.
But he doesn't have much to call on. Directly. He may be able to... I don't see him having allies.
I'm sorry, is the he we're talking about the 7-year-old child?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, okay.
7-year-old child, yes, for sure.
Robin gave some good advice, which is declare all the wars. That would make this not boring.
True. So yeah, I would say that Bjarmia is a big risk. They have 3,000 troops. They're already in another war, but they do also have another ally. The chiefdom of Karelia. Whereas Luki doesn't appear to have any allies, is led by a 7-year-old, and only has 221 troops to call directly. So if there's someplace in Luki that you can take, not a bad idea.
Okay.
Particularly, though, it looks like the chiefdom of... which is this? Beluzaro? I don't know. Is actually part of a Jarldom of Vespia, and that would give you total control over Vespia, I believe.
Oh, interesting.
And that would not be a bad thing.
I've always wanted total control of Vespia.
Well, it means that you may be able to Jarl yourself and get out from under Virga's thumb.
Yeah. Which one was that?
Directly to your part of Luki.
Okay. Interesting.
Also, perhaps relevantly, the easternmost extent of the de jure kingdom of Novgorod, which is, what our first goal for you was originally before everything went pear-shaped.
Before everything went pretty pear-shaped. So interestingly, I don't see... Oh, I see. So I would declare war on Luki and take Belorosero?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
You would claim Belorosero.
That would be my casus belli.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you conquer county, or what are your claims against him? If you have claims against him, that could be cheaper.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, if you click on your claims, what does that show? Change objective, click that button for me.
Oh, sorry.
So you could claim the chiefdom of Luki, the chiefdom of Belozero, or the Jarldom of Luki, which would be interesting. I think if you claimed the Jarldom, he would become your vassal.
Interesting. I'd be a Jarl again.
Indeed, and you would have more territory than if you claimed the chiefdom, but the costs may be different in terms of prestige.
It's roughly twice as much prestige, so not actually crazy.
And if you claim the chiefdom, you gain that territory personally. If you claim the Jarldom, you gain the Jarldom, but the territory, the chiefdoms, presumably stay his. Orvar's.
Am I less likely to draw attention from the rest of Luki if I go for the...
He's the ruler of Luki, so you're going to draw attention either way.
Okay, Robin is insisting that I pick on the 7-year-old. I'm not going to not do that.
This is a 7-year-old that is related to him, I want to point out. This is a relatively close relation.
You think you had a bad Thanksgiving. Okay, I think I'm going to go chiefdom. And I'm going to go ahead and bully the 7-year-old.
By all means.
War were declared.
Should be relatively quick if you take Luki and manage to hang on to it, beat him in the field. I think you'll be all right.
So when I raise all my armies, I should leave some at home, right? No?
He doesn't probably have enough troops to siege Holmgarther unless he hires mercenaries.
All right.
And he's got 200 troops. How many... what's your garrison in Holmgarther? I'm zooming in to find out myself. Your garrison Holmgarther is 564.
Okay.
So I don't think he can actually siege that from you without calling in mercenaries or allies.
Okay. I think I just need to let these armies raise and I'll march.
All right.
Let's do this thing.
Hopefully it goes well. I mean, I'm working under the assumption that it will. I'll feel like I have egg on my face for my advice if it doesn't. Alright. I am sieging. I am fighting. A faction has been created against me again.
Peasants,
all
right?
No, actually, in this case, Independence faction and a Norse Asatru faction. All right, I think... Oh, valuable hostage captured. I think that's why my war just ended. All right. This should be the inauguration of a Finnish kingdom.
All right, then.
Oh, at least once I give Massaculia out to somebody who can handle it. Oh, actually,
I don't know if you saw that Joanne left for bandwidth reasons, but she says that she's very proud of you and Titty Wife.
Thank you, Joanne. That means a lot to me.
I actually think I pronounced that wrong. It's Titty Wife.
All right. I'm going to give Sigvara to somebody. It's not in a duchy that I personally hold or care about, and I'm about to rejigger my entire Scoodly-Doop, so, the technical terms.
Sure. I'm really glad they didn't call them Scoodly-Doops in 3. In 2, it was always a little bit confusing.
Yeah. You know what? Go for it. Okay. So now, let's see. Do I hold anything in this barony at all anymore? I do. I hold Kitka. That'd be a fun place to live. Just to be like, I'm from Kitka. All right. Let's see. Found, not a new kingdom. The Kingdom of Finland. Let's see. Yeah, it is considerably cheaper to found a kingdom that already exists. Create that title. My favorite game show. I am now the King of Finland. Neighbors can be vassalized. Oh, yes!
By the way, real quick, Robin points out my Spymaster is a babe, which is true, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
She's a dishonorable ravener, I would like to point out.
Duchy of Finland is going to be another thing in a minute. That's going to be a different thing.
Man, you've got some work to do. Congratulations.
No, yeah, I'm going to be tinkering for just a minute. I am about to offer vassalage to Nyland, Kakasalmi, and Tavasts. So I think all of those people are likely to volunteer to be my vassals, which is great.
Yeah, that'll do.
But it will leave me with a really messy internal political situation, which is like good for, like viewership purposes.
The game, yeah.
Yeah. Let me see if I can revoke. No, I don't have high enough tribal authority. Ugh, how do I get more tribal authority?
Practice?
Oh, I didn't have enough prestige before. I was saving it up. But now my prestige. Okay, so in 10 years, I can pass absolute tribal authority and maybe get Finland for myself. The county of, that is.
Mm-hmm. I forgot that my Spymaster's an albino.
Oh, yeah. I had forgotten that as well, although I remember it now that you mention it. I remember it happening. Let me see if I can ransom anybody here real quick for some quick moolah. Ransoms become a lot less lucrative once the war is over, as it turns out. Alright, well, I do need some more money. But first, I have to give out some ducal titles, because I'm holding 5, and now that I'm a king, I can really only have 2. So...
Sure.
I think that's going to be Pohjanmaa and Finland eventually. But... actually, you know what I'm going to do? Is I'm going to unpause long enough for my replies to come in from Tavasts, Nyland, and Kakasalmi.
Sounds
so... let me do that. There they are. They accept my offers of vassalization. Check me out. Zoom out on the map to have a look at me.
Yeah, sure.
Because I am grand now.
You're looking pretty grand. Oop, I can't go to the side for some reason.
Huh.
We're getting some...
You can middle click to kind of pan around.
Yeah, there we go. Getting some goofy controls. Oh my god, yeah. Finland. Damn, Finland!
Satisfying.
That is beautiful. And then that little
Yeah, the little. I actually, if you look all the way into like the border of Sweden and I've got another little one down by Denmark.
Nice.
Yeah.
Most importantly, we still have the most important, the capital.
Yeah.
The center of all culture.
With
a small number of A's for now.
Yeah. It will be the capital shortly.
Look at your
it is not quite yet.
Gorgeous.
But okay, I need to do a couple other little things here, so give me just a minute.
Yeah, you're good.
To get that stuff assigned. Mainly I have to give out duchies. That's the big thing. Savo is 1. So let's see. You dislike me. You dislike me less. You dislike me a little more than that. What's that trait? Bastard founder. A former bastard who founded his own dynasty. Interesting.
So how did you end up with those satellite Finlands, by the way? Is that just because that was territory you held when you declared yourself king?
So what
Kingdoms don't have to be contiguous, right?
So, Jarl Ormur Bjornsson inherited titles that gave him this bit of Östergötland that is closest to me. I held that after I invaded Sweden last time we streamed. And he took it from me through inheritance. The parts of Sweden that are currently Finland are the bits that I took in that war that were not part of what he inherited. So where Medelpad and Hälsingland are, I also had Östergötland, or let's see, I had Gästriklandia and Uppland, and I think a little bit of Södermanland along the Swedish coast near, what is this? Sund, that island in between me and Sweden. I had all that, but it got inherited away from me after the fact. So what's left of me over there is what I had conquered that didn't get inherited away from me. Okay, I have duchies to distribute. Give me just a second.
Yeah. While you do that, if you don't mind multitasking, Robin asked probably the best question about this game. How do you win? Do you win?
You don't. Yeah, there's no win condition. You set your own goals. And
for example, making the entire known world into Finland.
Yeah, well, and so the game suggests some things for you mechanically, and certain starting points. If you don't go to like advanced setup screen like we did, also suggest objectives. Generally speaking, the only way that you lose is to not have a title left or to not have anybody left to inherit your titles. That's in your own house. But within that, you just kind of do what it is that you want in terms of alt historical simulation. For me, that often turns into take an unlikely cultural group or political entity and make it the dominant force in Europe or the Mediterranean or India or indeed the world. But there are also, any number of ways to play. I had a friend who was very into start at like a count, like somebody who just holds one county in a much larger polity and try to get their house to be the ruling house, right? The politicking of it rather than like the military conquest of it. Other people, our friend Des and I played one where we, cooperatively tried to eliminate Catholicism from Europe in favor of reformed Norse paganism. And we were actually very successful. I, as the Empire of Courland, held Rome. There was still a pope, but he didn't have anywhere to meet. He just, I guess, had to have a Bible study in a basement every week.
Yeah, world domination is not a win state. It can be a goal, but it's like the game doesn't have an end, right? There's a date at which
1453.
Yeah.
So fall of Constantinople.
So at the fall of Constantinople, the world is in the state it's in. So if you dominate the world at that point, you could call that a win condition. But if you achieve world domination at some point before that, that's not a win condition because you could still lose it sometime before the fall of Constantinople.
Yeah, it's much more of like a story generation engine. than it is a like game with an objective. Drew has zoomed out a fair bit here, and any one of these things, like say you started at this date and just said, I want to try to keep, I don't know, Iceland independent. Like that could be your objective. I want to see what happens if Bulgaria conquers Greece. Could be an objective. One that I have done before is unifying India under Jains instead of Hindus. Is a really kind of interesting little sandbox in Crusader Kings 2. There's a lot that you can kind of do here, but there isn't anything where the game is going to be like, congratulations, you won. What it will do is give you achievements for doing kind of I think it's fair enough to say like interesting or mechanically deft things. Like there are some that are just like, oh cool, you did a thing that everybody's going to do in the course of playing this game, but then there are others that are just like, did you manage to do a thing?
Yeah, it's a pretty good achievements list because it does direct you at the different mechanics in a pretty effective way.
Okay, so what other duchies do I actually have currently? Norland. Where is that? Oh, that's over here. Oh, interesting. Okay. Let me see who hates me the most here. Wow, they both hate me the most. Literally, they're both at -100. That's going to make this difficult. Who is less likely to successfully mess me up? Probably Hälsingland, so let's make you the Jarl of Norland. Hey, if you want to take Angermanland from your neighbor, don't let me stop you.
We're looking at the map, but I'm keeping the map zoomed out while I do some business so we can listen to you and watch me.
Sure.
Just checking if I have any hooks.
You guys won't see anything change, but basically what I'm doing is I'm partitioning off a lot of my territory to vassals in big chunks because I held those big chunks personally before I became the King of Finland. But currently, as the King of Finland, my vassals do not like it when I hold too much territory, directly. And I think I'm going to give this kid the Jarldom of Uppland, and, it's one of those things where I hold the Jarldom, but I don't actually hold anything in it. So...
Right. Robin asks, are there actual witches? Yes, there are.
Yes.
I mean, as far as the game is concerned, yes. Better yet, I am one. And I have inducted my son into the order as well. Now, I don't know if I'm just not witch enough, but I don't think we ever like there are events where you sort of do witchy things, but it's not like there are like traits that are magically, inflected or anything, right?
So you can have traits like mystic, or you can have like a health boost from being a witch. You can also make your dynasty into a witch's coven if you have enough witches in your dynasty. So that's like a thing that you can do, but it's a little bit agnostic about whether any of that stuff has like real effects. It's much more about like, what does it do to your prestige, to your piety, to what other people think of you, to blackmail.
Right. Most stuff in this game kind of works that way, right? I mean, like when I was looking at my council, I sort of dropped the word albino somewhat callously. That's what the game calls it, right? But that's because like it's not as though albinism is a trait that has like moral implications or whatever in the game. It has to do with how they're treated and how they how they feel about other people and how people feel about them. Most stuff in this game kind of works that way. Although these sort of main qualities having to do with like martial ability, diplomatic ability, those sorts of things are also, covered by traits, some of which are heritable, some of which are basically random, some of which you can foster over time. You have limited control over everyone. You have more control over the character you're currently playing, but even then not complete control.
Indeed.
So yeah, these traits govern a lot of that stuff. Witchiness being just one among many.
I like witchiness just as a thing too, just as
a quantifiable trait. Yeah.
All right, so I am currently beefing up Joan Lu so that I can change my capital to it once it has sufficient income and levies and such. But now I am ready to continue if you are, because
I have way less to worry. It's really relaxing down here where I'm not a king. I'm just about to fight a small, stupid local war of conquest, and we'll go from there.
Right. Well, and so now I have to really worry about succession law, which I'm locked into Confederate partition as a tribal ruler. So now my next thing is going to be to try and get to be feudal. So I'm glad I achieved this goal within my first ruler's lifetime, though. If you haven't already, check out my portrait, because I'm wearing much fancier clothes. The beard remains magnificent.
Hang on, we're going to do that real quick before we move ahead. Damn!
Yeah. Both me and Queen Titty are decked out.
She got a hat worthy of her.
Yeah. At long last, frankly.
Those are some shiny friggin' hats. It's a good day.
The shiniest. All right, yeah, we can continue.
Let's do this.
We'll do so. All right. Feels good.
Feels good.
It's good to be the king,
as they say. Whoa! Hold on. Let's pause.
What has happened?
I don't know.
Your forces took Jarl Orvar's Bjorn.
That's all fine. But over here, the barony of Podporsuge? That wasn't even good a time.
Sure, I'm not entirely sure.
Joined up and just absolutely smashed some of my dudes who were on the way over.
All right, well, let me. I can't see too much, but let me see what I can see. So you've got 1309, and what was the tribe of, or chief of, who just messed with you? Podporsuge. Boy. Let me see if I can find that.
I too am Team Spymaster, Robin. She's great. If I could leave it all to her, then be a very different campaign right now.
Oh, that's a barony, huh? That's wild. Where is it? Okay, it's part of Vyangi, which is where that battle seems to have taken place. So this chief has 1,300. I guess that's their combined armies. If you cursor over that number for me, that 2,900. Onega makes up most of that. Let me find Onega.
So did I just run into some bad luck? Were they just like passing through a raiding, or are they gonna follow me where I'm going?
I can't figure it out. They're not in your war.
Yeah.
This guy has not called in anybody. But are you party to a different war is the question.
Oh, almost certainly. My liege is always messing with. Oh, there's this war.
So I don't have line of sight on that. I can't really make a judgment here. That's odd, right? Like, mouse over them one more time for me. I'm trying to figure out why they're hostile to you. Because they all are hostile. And Salinus, and is your Liege at war?
Okay.
So that they are hostile to your troops. They are not affecting your war score with Belo Ozoro, though. So I would say just avoid them as much as possible.
I know that
coming
now.
for you.
Yeah, no, I think it was just plain bad luck. We passed through my territory at the same time.
Sure, your Liege's Liege, rather.
Gotcha. Okay. That at least makes sense. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna unpause now.
Yeah,
we are at speed 1.
That's probably not necessary.
All right. My final goal is to have my 2 central duchies be Pohjanmaa and the Duchy of Finland. That's going to take some work, though.
It's a good goal. So what am I trying to conquer here, actually?
You are looking for the tribe of Belo-Ozuru, the northernmost barony of the county of Belo-Ozuru. And then whatever else you can take from Luki will boost your war score.
Gotcha. Oh, I see. I'm sieging already. I'm good. Okay.
Yeah. You have 6 months left in this war if nothing happens. Nothing untoward happens. I would watch that army. They may be passing through where you're standing.
Yeah.
In which case, you'll want to get out of Dodge, because I don't think you can really stand up to them.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Okay. I did not actually need to pause there, but I saw an event pop up and it was a reflex, so unpausing. Okay, yeah, they're not coming to you currently.
Okay, good.
They are headed back the other way.
I like that for them.
Yeah. I'm having a lot of children in my dynasty, which is great. I've got 20 living members of the Kemilainen dynasty at the moment, which is a lot more than I had initially.
Viangi is now under siege by... Is that them? Is that them sieging Viangi?
I can't tell which army is doing the besieging. Once they move, I'll have a better idea. But that siege is not progressing.
Okay.
That's what the little striped bar means, is that it is not... Gotcha. They are not able to effectively siege it.
Understood. Okay. Then I'm good to continue if you are.
Yep. I'm good.
I can call the King of Finland to war if I want to.
You certainly can.
Not necessary if this goes well.
So I still need Karelia and part of Biarmia to have all of the Kingdom of Finland, and actually, oh no, I already have a little bit of Vodi. So that's the part that matters here.
Gonna ransom the champion who I captured in that battle, I guess.
Yeah, 25 gold is probably, or what is it called? Income, 25 treasure.
Yeah.
Whatever it is probably more valuable to you than not having him in the field.
Yep.
How's this working? 50 days till the siege is over. Alright. How does the Jarl of Norland feel about me? Not great, but better than he did because I gave him a duchy. So, that's good.
Yeah.
If I ever get back to 375 prestige, I can probably get Uppland back. Do we still have that problem? Yeah, we still have... Oh, okay, well, it won't necessarily be the problem because it's not independent, but we still have Uppland, the independent petty kingdom.
Right.
As well as Uppland, the duchy close to me. So that's fun.
All right, I'm going to pause real quick. So... War score is at 55 since I occupy. Siege is over. So I can't quite enforce demands yet.
Just start sieging more of his territory. Head down to Bazici or whatever else. If he's got an army in the field that you can find, kick it in the teeth, and that'll help too. I can't remember which of my kids is my heir. Oh.
It's good to remember that, like, generally. But...
Yeah. He's not amazing. He's okay. He's got very low stewardship, which is gonna be a problem, but what can you do? I'm not sadistic, so I can't kill my own children. His little brother wouldn't be amazingly better anyway. Yeah, I'd have to go down like 6 suns in order to to get to a good ruler.
Fair enough. Okay, I'm good if you are.
Yep, yep. And 20. So what day? I think for the near term, I'm mostly going to be waiting to get money.
Fair.
Because that's what it requires to create and to usurp titles. So it's mostly what I need to do at the moment.
Oh, my wife's got the lover's pox. Did this happen last generation too?
I feel like it did. Yeah, I feel like that's been kind of a constant problem for you.
I mean, I probably shouldn't risk infection, right?
I mean, it's not great.
What are the effects of lover's pox? Natural dread -5, attraction option -20. Can be inherited.
And it can be inherited. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got a color treacherous hussy, which again, it's not. I'm not thrilled about it, but it's an in-character decision. Okay.
Yeah. Question is, how eager am I to declare war for Appoint? So I could probably win a war for Appoint. And the prestige would be nice, but I would lose some money doing it. And I could use some money.
Having money is good. And in the game.
Just so. I mean, I'm making a fair bit of money and prestige by the standards of this game so far. But that doesn't mean it will accumulate quickly. Do you think that we would do okay on speed 3?
Yeah, this is a pretty sleepy war on my side, so speed 3 is fine by me.
Good deal. Oh, dang. Ireland is kind of becoming a thing. I just am panning around. Meath has most of Ireland. Denmark and Gulothingsslug have some of the other bits. Wessex and Mercia are big, but Alba is doing pretty well. Gwynedd has most of Wales. Mercia also owns part of Brittany, which is a little odd. Lotharingia seems to have absorbed East Francia, which almost never happens. Lotharingia is kind of doomed in most games.
So why does that have anything to do with what we've been doing, or is that just like a different role, basically?
Yeah, no, this is what they've been up to while we've been doing all of this. I mean, technically we could be having some effect.
Right.
But only pretty
third
distantly,
and fourth,
I think.
Yeah, third, fourth, fifth order effects.
Yeah. What else is particularly notable? Most of the other stuff seems relatively period standard. I mean, the Aghlabids are doing okay for a breakaway. Breakaway Muslim conquest kingdom, but I guess Great Moravia is the big success story in our neck of the woods so far. Estonia is, of course, not doing poorly, but wow, we already know all about them.
All too well.
Yeah. Did Speed 3 not stick Is our connection too bad for speed 3?
Oh, that's interesting. Let's try it again.
Used to notify you when that moved around. But,
yeah, I might have hit a button.
To do so anymore.
So they're trying to take back Beluzero, but they don't have enough soldiers, so I guess they're just running in place, basically?
Pretty much. They're just kind of standing there at the moment and suffering 1% attrition per month. So yeah, I think if you just head to another one, or you can go try and fight them if it gets you like 1% or 2% or however much, 5%. Yeah, to beat their army in the field, that could be useful.
Pretty close to winning anyway.
Yeah. Hopefully you won't run into that larger army again.
I feel like I could see them coming. There's not a lot of fog of war in my immediate region. But I don't know. I've been surprised before. Like that one.
Pretty close to being able to create the Duchy of Finland, which is going to be nice.
A stranger is brought before me. He's been waiting outside the castle gates for a week, my liege. My guard informs me. The man bows deeply. My name is Dravenus, your highness. I have traveled far and wide and seen many things, but I am weary of the road. If you will allow me to stay, I will happily share my knowledge of the world with you and be your loyal servant.
Interesting. I've seen this event in single player a couple of times with whole families.
Interesting.
Let's click on him and see where he's from and what he's got to offer. So he's a Lithuanian Vitalist who is a pretty good champion. If you want to bring him on, you can demand conversion, or you can say no, or you can just say, yeah, come on as you are.
It appears he's going to convert whether I ask him or not. Oh, I see. I gotcha. I can just say no conditions. In which case he gains more opinion of me, but he doesn't convert, and my religious leader loses 10 opinion of me. I gotcha.
Yeah, and you get a strong hook instead of a weak hook, which, if you plan on giving him some territory, a strong hook could be particularly useful. But if you don't, just plan on making him a general.
I don't even have that much territory to give him, so.
Yeah. You don't have a lot to spare at the moment, so.
Welcome.
Yeah. And, he's probably going to be a champion of yours in short order, just if you leave the default settings on.
Yeah.
It is my turn to be gone for a short while, but I will return.
Cool. Not going to ask for Adam's aid in this war. It's not necessary. We haven't fought a war together yet. Gotta do that. So yeah, if I can get back up there, break their siege, that should give me enough war score for anybody who's just joining us. Taking territory, defeating armies in the field gives you war score. And generally speaking, you won't get an unconditional surrender out of someone unless you're at 100% war score. If I try to enforce my demands right now at 97%, they'll refuse. I can ask for a white piece, but there's no real reason to do that if it looks like I'll be able to defeat them utterly shortly. So, therefore, we're going to hold out. I don't know if you've been hearing me sipping this beer, but it's a good beer. I had in my head that I was going to feature like a bunch of local breweries as far as what I'm drinking on these streams, but I really just drank Tilted Barn, this one from Exeter, Rhode Island. That's very good. I think it's tough to come by if you're not in New England, but if you happen upon it, it's good stuff.
Did you talk smack about me this time?
I was talking about good beer, and I was explaining war score to anybody watching who didn't know about it.
Well, actually probably worthier uses of your time, so.
The smack talk will now commence. You dirty, unclean person, you.
I've never been so insulted.
May need to wind this session down soon, but I do want to finish this war at the very least. So
for sure. I mean, I have achieved my initial objective.
You have.
Here in what, session 4?
You've got to pick a new mountain to climb. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to claw my way back.
Yeah, my smaller thing is to just consolidate this territory. Sure. I think my next thing is going to be to start becoming the Empire of Scandinavia.
That's legit. All right, hit and play.
Yeah. Let's see. It's funny because I can't see any of the stuff that's going on with you, but I can just find you and click on you and see what your war score is like.
Sure.
The war is taking place behind a curtain, but... Oh, wow. I got a little sidebar thing here. Your steward's excellent stewardship led to the windfall of additional taxes. You gained 95 treasure.
Whew, that ain't nothing.
Yeah, in fact, I think it's going to let me create the Duchy of Finland, like, single-handedly. That one event pretty much covers the cost.
My steward died at a ripe old age, by the way, so I'm going to let my heir be steward for a while. He's good with money anyway.
Most excellent. I need to give Kitka to somebody so that I can go ahead and hand off this duchy that I no longer need. So let's see. I like giving lowborn people titles because they don't have complications.
Sure.
Oh, so you probably like me because I just gave you a title. Weirdly enough, you do not. Why not? Oh, well. Not a lot of anything. 27, 57, 42, communal. Yeah, why not? You can go ahead and have that Jarldom, or High Chiefdom, rather. Empty council position of steward. Sure. Okay. And then I've got Finland now. But I cannot raise my crown authority again for another 9 years. So I'll try to keep my prestige above 500. Because once I have that, I can maybe revoke some of these counties in Finland that I would like to hold. Personally. Excellent. Okay.
You keep saying things a little bit more sinisterly than you need to this session, and I'm about it.
It's a feature, not a bug.
I wish to hold these territories. Personally.
Okay. I can let your war proceed now.
Okay, yeah, I think it's just about done.
Most excellent.
Commands have been enforced.
Most wonderful.
Oh no, the 7-year-old begins his missive. Greetings, uncle. Your low character is the subject of Greek plays. You are a much greater foe than I imagined. In order to put an end to this bloodshed, I will comply with your demands. That is some purple prose for a. Well, he's 9 now that the war's over. But
I have a feeling that that was probably ghost written for him by an advisor or something.
That's almost certainly the intent, and yet I really like the headcanon that nope, the kid,
yeah,
the whole last 6 months of the war during the siege, he was just writing just the perfect lacerating missive.
And reading Greek plays, apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, now you have personally, or in your control at least, the entire Jarldom of Vespia. So you could, theoretically, with enough chutzpah, prestige, and gold, crown yourself a Jarl once more. It'd probably still keep you in Estonia, but it would probably get you out from under the thumb of Virga. However, she would maintain the High Chiefdom of Novgorod that she took for me. As well as her chiefdoms of Tartu and Rusa within Novgorod. Well, Rusa is in Novgorod. Tartu is not. Where is it? I can't quite tell. It is not. For my part, the kingdom titles for Finland being what they are, I need to take like 2 or 3 territories from Biarmia and like 2 from Karelia, and then get the kingdom of Estonia for myself, but just the de jure stuff.
Sure. Quick side note, my brother Bjorn died.
Is this baby Bjorn?
No,
this is the other one.
This is maybe it is baby Bjorn. He's 28 now. I think he died in the war against my liege, and as a result,
slain in battle by Rurik, Helgis, and Rurikid. Yeah.
As a result, I lost 10 stress.
I guess you guys didn't like each other very much.
All right, I'm saving some prisoners.
That's very good.
I'm gonna dissolve my army for now. Do they auto disband after a war? I thought they didn't.
No, they don't, or at least they haven't for me. There's usually a little disband all if you're not in a war anymore down in the corner, just above the pause bar. Yeah, it's there for you. Little disband all button.
There it is. No armies can be disbanded. Weird.
Why not, I wonder?
We'll figure it out.
Click upper right hand corner just below the 4 or 5. If you just click on that little realm, toggle outliner. You've got one army of 1307. You click that, you can select it. I see it. Yeah, it's in Belozoro. Maybe it can't be disbanded because there's hostile forces around.
Yeah, maybe.
If you move it back into friendly territory, you should be able to disband it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Weird that it is resisting disbandment, though. It's usually pretty worrying if an army in the field refuses to stand down.
Yeah.
It's not great. Okay, so...
My peasant uprising is officially a dangerous faction. If I recall, this just means that probably a war will occur. Not that it'll necessarily...
Yes, they're going to send an ultimatum in a month. But they are not going to pose an amazingly big threat to you.
Yeah, maybe I don't disband the army just yet, then.
So, currently, I need 405 gold and another 67 counties within the Empire of Scandinavia before I can make the Empire of Scandinavia. So it might be a few generations before that happens.
Longer term project, yeah.
Yeah. I need to like triple the number of counties that I've got.
You're well on your way, though.
Well, and it is one of those things where like, it's rolling downhill, right? Like as you get bigger, you can do bigger chunks of stuff. Think Katamari.
Sure.
Well, yes, I did just put Crusader Kings 3 and Katamari Damacy in the same genre. What of it? Basically, they only operate on differences of time scale, if you think about it.
Sure, yeah. Aesthetics, too.
You could
present this in the style of Katamari Damacy. But... And yes, by the way, Robin, I just looked at the chat. I assume sick burn refers to the withering piece of prose from the 7-year-old whose dreams I just crushed. Yeah.
I mean, I hope so. Anyway, I'm in a position to actually create another men-at-arms regiment now that I am a king.
Damn.
So I got to decide what I want more of. I mostly fight in Taiga currently. I'm going to be fighting Taiga mostly, so light footmen and Mestanvartija, I guess, those forest wardens. seem like the best bets. Yeah, let's get another one of our specials. Cool. There I am.
There you are.
King Kaleva, Finland now. I don't have to try and pronounce Pajanma, although I'm still stuck with Kemilainen.
You are, unfortunately, for the foreseeable future.
It's okay. Fine. It's cool. I could create a cadet branch, not now, but eventually. If I wanted to get to a point to create a cadet branch. Name it whatever I wanted. I'm also not that far from getting the next level of Splendor, which probably gives me one of those Dynasty legacies we haven't really engaged with yet. So that'll be fun. Presumably in a future session. Anything you need to wrap up?
I think I'm good.
All right. Well, let's see if maybe we can get your army disbanded first, because that's going to be.
Well, I might not actually, because this peasant uprising is likely to come to a head. Maybe first thing next time. So maybe this is as good a time as any to call it, if that's good by you.
That's good by me. Thank you, as always, for inviting me to do this goofy but very interesting thing with you.
But of course, thank you for I'm pretty confident I would not have gotten into these games if not for you, and I'm certainly sure I wouldn't be doing this if not for you. So thank you, as always, for bringing me into wonderful, beautiful, strange things that make my life richer and stranger, which after all is what life should be.
If I can be the not pallbearer, what's the actual thing, the palanquin bearer for absurdity, then my job here is done.
The palanquin bearer for absurdity, it is. Okay, well, thank you for tuning in, everybody. If you are looking forward to the next podcast, we're actually doing a clip show this week. Because of a few people's schedules, we are starting our cycle of every 2 weeks episodes next week. So this week we're going to do some of our favorite stuff from 2020. Which also gives me an excuse to play some of my favorite music from the games of 2020. It should be pretty good. It's also a cool way to sort of show some themes that a bunch of interviews have shared in common, which, when you do, 40-ish interviews a year, or 20-ish, or whatever we end up doing, it's a cool exercise. So thank you for tuning into this. Thanks for tuning into that. Adam, thank you a ton for being my guide through this madness.
Thank you for doing this with me, having me on.
Robin, thank you for being an agent of chaos.
Yeah, to people to tuning in. It's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks so much. And until next time, everybody.
Yeah, I need to look up Finnish for goodbye.
Oh, yeah, huh? I already forgot. Thank you. Do you remember?
Me too.
All right, next time. Bye, everyone.